Hi,
Hello!
guys.
Today we're talking about grocery hacks that will save you thousands because we have started our Mother's Day sale, 40% off all of our cookbooks right now, guys. We only do this twice a year, so go grab it in the description below. All right, number one, it is you might have to sell something to pay for groceries. Okay, this is not going to be real popular, but you know, Americans really just buy a lot of stuff. And you might have to just have a garage sale. Get yourself a couple of $100 to help supplement your grocery savings. You might have to get a part-time job. You might have to sell your kids' clothes, anything you can, but figure out a way to come up with more money if you're really that desperate and you can't, and you're already doing all these next tips that we talk about. You just may have to come up with more money.
Well, I don't know if you got this on your list, but kind of the opposite of that works with this is to stop spending money on other things that aren't necessities. You know, that works both ways.
Yeah. So you may have to stop the manicures. You may have to sell the car and get a car that doesn't have a car payment.
Even things like be careful on just driving every place and using up gas all the time. Just little things like that is how
keeping the AC really low and the heater really high. All of those things cost money that could be going to pay groceries if you really needed to. All right, next one is stop buying things like seasoning packets. Dining on a Dime cookbook right here, guys. I don't know how many seasoning packets we have in here. There's probably 20, 25 in here. But volume 1 and volume 2, and then also our gluten-free, dairy-free edition has it also. 40% off right now for our Mother's Day sale. I have never, ever, ever bought a seasoning packet in my life. I've never bought a gravy packet, never bought taco seasoning, fajita seasoning, nothing. Why? All those recipes are in our cookbook, and they are super easy to make. And Kara just made our taco seasoning, and it's so yummy. Yep. Super, super easy.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know. We love it when you pop in and tell us these things that you guys like with, you know, these recipes and stuff, because it helps other people on here to understand it's not us just saying this. And another thing too, I think a lot of the recipes, or at least some of them, are just basic spices that most people have in their cabinets anyway. You know, it doesn't
Mom
take
and
much
I
to
average about 10 spices or so on the high end of what we use all the time. I have a few other ones that I had for specific recipes just for testing other things, but I don't use them on a regular basis. And so 10 spices on, I mean, really, we probably use like 5 or 6 all the time. So, but 10, I'll give you 10 because I've added things like curry and paprika a lot to my cooking. But, you know, we basically just use onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. I do use Italian seasoning, chili powder, cayenne pepper, or some sort of red pepper is what. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? And then I do use curry, but that's about all we use. But guys, the seasoning packets are $1. You can make them for about 10 cents. So there's really no reason. And I don't have to run out to the store if I forget something. I just make it up, and I make it up and just store it in a spice bottle. And one spice bottle worth is probably about 10 seasoning packets. So it's really super easy and it's cheap. The next one is stop buying juice. And oh my goodness, stop watering down juice. I hate that tip. I'm sorry. Your kids need to just learn they don't need to drink so much juice. And watering down juice, first of all, is just gross. But secondly, it teaches your kids that it's okay to get what you want, and then kind of in a way, mom's lying to them. Not really. I mean, but you know,
It's not teaching them to have control of themselves
say no.
and
Yeah.
just eat small portion size. That's why we have we blame the obesity and all the fast foods and the processed foods. It's just the habits that we've gotten over the years is more the problem for obesity, because those same kids will grow up, and then when they get at home, they didn't know mom diluted it down when they become teenagers or whatever. And so they make it up, and they make it just like it's supposed to. And they drink the huge amount that mom would give of the watered down stuff. So it's not a good learning way to teach them how to control their eating habits and things like that. It's giving them what they want of a whole bunch of everything instead of teaching them to have control.
And guys, post your questions in the comments, and Mike will capture them and send them to me. Double cook your meals. So one of the biggest, complaints people have about cooking at home from scratch, because they think it takes too long, which, by the way, I only spend 15 or 20 minutes in the kitchen. But one of the biggest complaints is that they don't have time. Okay, so double cook your meals. Make a big batch of what?
Lasagna?
Yeah, make a big batch of lasagna
Spaghetti.
Or cheeseburger rolls or spaghetti or whatever. You can eat the same meal 2 nights in a row. Green chili, that's a great one. Now, first of all, if your family refuses to eat leftovers, that's a discipline problem. Sorry, but I don't understand people who don't eat leftovers. But anyway, one way to not be tired all the time and have to be cooking all the time is to double cook your meals and then serve it more than once. You can have it for lunch the next day, or you can have it for dinner, or you can freeze it and then have it several days or a week later.
And even like lasagna or spaghetti or something, that stuff almost gets better the longer it sits in the refrigerator. So you don't have to have it the very next night. You know, you can skip one night and then eat it the third night, and it'll still be just fine. Like that. And one thing too, if we would always have a every man for themselves night. And that helps control your leftovers. That gives you a free night of not having to cook. If you have where it's the leftovers from the past few days or the week, there's little dabs of everything. So everybody just goes in there and gets what they want themselves, and that uses up the leftovers that way.
And I'm not talking about doing an all-day freezer cooking.
Oh, no.
I love my friend Kimmy at Shoes in Her Apron, who's the freezer cooking queen. But I do not understand. I don't think Kimmy does this, but I know other people who will literally spend all day exhausting themselves making 20 meals or 30 meals. And I'm like, you have got to be out of your mind. You're thinking about this, making this way more difficult than it actually needs to be. I just make a batch of green chili, double or triple it, and then we just eat it right away because we love green chili. But if I don't, or I know we're going to be going to friend's house or whatever to eat, I'll just put it in family-sized or serving-sized portions and just stack them in the fridge and then pull one out on a night when I need it.
It's like cleaning and organizing. If you put them in smaller bites, do like one room at a time or one area at a time. If you're having trouble doing the cleaning and you do it that way, it's sometimes easier. And different people have different situations. Like Tara and I are sick, so doing all day cooking would be too much for us. Or if you've got little kids at home with nobody to watch them and you're having to do that. So each situation is a little bit different.
Now, what do you do when it's like my house and my remodel has totally blown up all over the house?
And see, what's interesting is Tara and I have situations like that all the time. That's not really abnormal, not necessarily remodeling, but other things that come up. So doing it all day cooking just doesn't always work for us.
All right, the next one is learn how to cook and learn how to cook things like beans and rice. Now, we personally don't like beans. Mom hates beans except for baked beans, which have just as much sugar as they do beans. But Mike and I like beans, but we just don't eat them that much. But beans and rice are two very, very cheap.
If they're filling.
Middle meals that are filling And really, they are very easy to cook.
And they're versatile too. The rice, you can make a chicken soup, rice soup, you can do them. You can make it with a breakfast, use it with cinnamon, sugar, and buttermilk in the morning for breakfast. You can make casseroles out of it. Fill it.
You can stretch your like your tacos, you can stretch your soups, you can stretch your casseroles. So, use half the amount of meat, beef or chicken, whatever, and exchange that with half beans. But really, cooking beans on the stove is literally just letting them boil all day or all night. You can put them in the crock pot. You can put them in the Instant Pot if you want. You can get a rice cooker if you want. We have a rice cooker. I prefer just cooking it on the stove, but a rice cooker is nice if you're afraid you're going to forget to turn it off. So we have a rice cooker, and it literally takes, like 30 seconds to dump the water, rice, and salt and oil in the rice cooker, and it's cooked. And yet you don't have to have the expense of minute rice and all of that. Now, on that same line, even if you don't want to do those things, then go ahead and get the minute rice. Go ahead and get the canned beans that are already cooked. That's still 1,000 times cheaper than eating out.
Yeah.
1,000 times cheaper than eating out.
And that's where people they think it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
You either have to go out or you have to spend hours in the kitchen. You have to work you can't do this cold turkey probably. So what you have to do at first, you may have to buy minute rice, or canned beans until you get used to cooking meals at home. And eventually you'll find out it's not as hard as what you thought it was, and it'll get easier.
And those recipes are in volume 1 of Dining on a Dime cookbook. It's 40% off right now, guys, for our Mother's Day sale. We only do this 2 times a year. So if you want to grab it now.
We have how to cook rice in that, because I remember the day we put it in there, we had the book almost done, and I came in and I told Tara, I said, we have got to put in how to do basic things like cook rice, because you throw the bag away or something, it gets lost or something, and people just can't remember. And I remember the very day, for some reason, I remember that, telling her we got to put that in there.
Stop buying things like Hamburger Helper and buy things like a 50-cent box of macaroni and cheese. And you're going to be like, what, Tara? What are you talking about? Do you know Hamburger Helper is just a box of macaroni and cheese with a few extra spices added? That's all it is. But you pay like $2 for Hamburger Helper, and it's like 50 cents for a box of macaroni and cheese. So our hamburger casserole, Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1, is Hamburger Helper. That's the Hamburger Helper equivalent.
That's a good recipe. It's fast and easy, and it's really yummy. The kids seem to love it because it's just hamburger and macaroni.
Less than 5 minutes prep time, 10 to 15 minutes cook time. It's super fast and super easy. And all it is just macaroni, hamburger, American or cheddar cheese, whichever you want, and then a few spices like onion, garlic powder, and salt if you want. You could add some chili powder if you want, if you like it a little bit on the spicier side. But yeah, guys, go ahead and put your questions in the comments and we will answer them in just a little bit. Eat the same meals. Now, people are going to say, well, I don't want to eat the same thing over and over again. Just pick 10 meals and rotate them every 10 days. And you're not eating the same thing over and over again. Most people eat tacos 3 times a month anyway. Sometimes they eat tacos 4 or 5 times a month. And so stop making it complicated and thinking you have to have a new recipe, a new, a new thing to try all the time. You don't have to. Pick a couple of times a month and try new recipes, and all the rest of the times cook the same things.
Moms always think this for some reason, that they have to be very creative with their meals and that type of thing. Husbands and kids, usually some of you may pop up there and said, my husband will, or something like that. But most of the time, they don't care. Just as long as you've got food on the table for them, they just come in there. Yeah. And in a way, it's a comfort to them. How many of you, I was listening to a thing the other day, and somebody was saying, maybe it was on here, I can't remember. They were saying, I remember my grandma making macaroni and cheese, or going to my grandma's every single Sunday, and we had roast beef, roast and potatoes and carrots. they were comforting memories. These foods that they're familiar with relaxes them and they feel comfortable with them. A lot of husbands and kids stress out if you try to feed them something new and different. They just don't always like it.
Okay, Mike, your husband, what's your opinion? Do you hate eating the same thing over and over again?
Sorry, it took me a second. Yeah, everything's great here. No problem. We're fine. Yes. Actually, no, I don't hate
So
eating.
Mike's background is the story of our life at the moment.
This was today. It wasn't an actual tornado of this type.
Almost, yeah.
It was very stormy with stuff happening.
No, actually, I like eating a lot of the same stuff over and over. In fact, if I make food for myself, I almost would eat the same thing every single day.
Mike does the same stuff. When I stayed with him,
I'll make some chicken. I'll grill some chicken in the pan with some seasonings and put it on tortillas, and I'll make like beans and rice and chicken. That's about it.
I was going to say beans and rice is one of his staples with a little broccoli sometimes. See, I didn't got his stuff memorized, but
and it's not because I can't cook anything else. It's just, it's kind of nice to look forward to the thing that you like.
All right. The next one is buy cheap meats like chicken quarters. Now, I have people every single day tell me that they can't get the prices that I can get at my grocery store. And I know they are lying. Why? Because every Walmart in the entire country, well, maybe unless Alaska and Hawaii, I don't even know if they have Walmarts, but except for those two places in Vermont. I don't think Vermont has a Walmart, but 47 states, you can get a Walmart and you can get chicken leg quarters from 69 to 99 cents a pound. It's a big 10-pound bag. Yes, it's a big 10-pound bag, but that is super cheap meat. And all you have to do is throw the whole thing in the, just put it in. It takes me two 9 by 13 pans to cook. And I throw those in the oven and we have really yummy roast chicken the first night, maybe a couple of nights. And then I just peel the chicken off because it falls off the bone because I've slow roasted it like in our Dining on a Dime cookbook. I just turn the hours down just a little bit, use the roast chicken recipe and just turn it down a couple of hours. And you have really good homemade chicken for super, super cheap. And then you take the bones, throw them in the crock pot overnight, and you have chicken broth. Do you know that I have never, ever bought chicken broth except for some recipe where I had to show a box of chicken broth because nobody makes chicken broth anymore. So I had to buy, it actually hurt my soul to buy chicken broth.
I know.
Because if I don't have homemade chicken broth with the bones, I just use the bouillon cubes. It's okay to use chicken bouillon cubes. That's all we had. Mom, you never cooked homemade chicken broth.
No.
Well,
I
maybe if you
cooked
did it for chicken soup or turkey soup.
Yeah.
But not like on a regular basis. Did you go and can chicken broth?
No, I never canned
like
it or
that.
anything. If I had chicken, then I would save the broth maybe in the freezer or something like that to use at another time or make soup out of it. But
so that goes to my next tip. Pre-cook your meats.
Yeah, that's a biggest thing in making it easier fixing the meals is having that meat done, And even like when she said throw the chicken in the pans, when you're just starting out doing this, put foil in there. I'd rather have you put some foil in there and lay the chicken down because you'll say, well, I don't want to do all that cleanup. But if you put the foil in, it won't be so bad. Even by disposable pan at the Dollar Tree, if you need to, that's cheaper still than going out to eat. So think of these at first, there's different levels that you can work your way up to and everything.
Yeah. And okay, tell them the story about, Wanda's talking about noodles and I'll answer your question in a minute, but you told a story about Grandma's noodles, Grandma Schuler's noodles.
Everybody ran and raved about my grandmother-in-law's homemade noodles. Oh, Grandma made the best homemade noodles. She had to bring them to every family get together, and they raved and ran and raved. Finally, I broke down, and I asked her one day, I said, we were cleaning up the kitchen. I said, what's your recipe? Can I get your recipe? And she said, I've never given anybody my recipe, but she said, I'll tell you what. And she said, don't you dare tell anybody else. She said, I go to the grocery store and just buy what are they called? Over here.
Not ramen, but they're Ramy
or something. They're the frozen egg. They're just frozen egg noodles that you bought at the store. And here they kept going on and on about how wonderful she said, there's no way I'm going to mess with making homemade noodles.
So don't think it has to be every single thing homemade.
No.
Like I make my homemade taco seasonings, but the homemade noodles, okay, I probably would just buy the noodles to have on hand as a convenience food. You don't have to have absolutely everything homemade. The whole entire point is to get you to stop eating out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the entire point of this. So that when you have situations where you truly cannot afford groceries, you truly can afford groceries. The number of people who truly cannot afford groceries is very, very slim. As a matter of fact, I would love to do a challenge where people came to us and Mom and I went through to see if they truly could not afford groceries. I would love to do that kind of a challenge, to go into people's homes, look at their budgets, look at their homes, look at their incomes and see what it is. And if you're in that kind of a situation, then you're going to have to just get a better paying job. And you're going to have to improve your situation like that, which Mom was in that situation. And sometimes you just have to wait until you come out of that situation and can afford doing better. But
I don't think I've ever dealt with anybody that I haven't been able to find a big, huge chunk of money for them that they were, basically wasting, that they couldn't use.
I've not had one person that we could not find.
A lot. It wasn't just a little bit. It was quite a bit. And even if they were making a small amount of money, we still could find a lot.
So pre-cook your meats. One tip Mom did was she would make a half a pound or a pound of hamburger, and she would put a couple of tablespoons in the freezer and save it for later. And then at the end of the month, she'd have a whole meal's worth of hamburger
already cooked in there.
I kind of do the same thing. I'll cook a whole turkey and I will peel it off the bone. This is the best turkey recipe you will ever eat. Super easy, literally 5 minutes worth of work. And I will put it in little pre-made packets. And I just put those packets straight into the oven. Well, when I get an oven back, and put it straight into the oven and cook it. And I have my own frozen TV dinners that literally cost me like 50 cents.
Yeah. And you don't have to do everything at once. For example, if she picks all the meat off and puts them in their special containers and put them in the freezer, you may have a pile of bones that would be great for soup. That would, a regular size, good sized turkey can make soup for about, 5 or 6 meals, depending on the size of your family, of course. But you may be tired after picking all that turkey out. So just wrap the bones in the foil or put them in another plastic bag and stick them in the refrigerator. And then if it says after Christmas, then I wait till the end of January when it's freezing cold and I pull those bones out, and then I feel more like, cooking them. So you don't have to do it all the very same day. You can do it in stages.
The next tip is don't pee persnickety. All right.
It sounds like you were going to say don't pee.
Oh, don't be persnickety. Well, you cannot pee persnickety too if you don't want to, but sorry.
Oh, dear.
It's been an extremely trying day today, so I may have a stroke in the middle of the show. Pork right now is super cheap. Chicken quarters. You are not going to be able to buy your steak. You're not going to be able to buy your ground beef, your chicken breasts. If pork is on sale for 99 cents a pound, that's what we're eating this week. If chicken quarters are 59 cents a pound, that's what we're eating this week. And so, or even for the whole month, you could buy one bag of chicken quarters and that would last a family of 4, probably 2 weeks worth of meals, easily stretched. It really would.
Yeah.
And so then you can take that money and save it later and get something else to stock your freezer up that's on sale. But it doesn't matter if you don't like pork. If it's on sale, this is what we eat. If you're truly hungry, then you are going to get what's on sale and affordable.
And think out of the box. And that's one thing about the books too. We've got a really good leftover section. And I might show it to him. I was going to show it to him when we got done. Oh, let me do it for you. These books, I was going to tell you guys, they have a lot in them. This book is so heavy. You can't even imagine. I was looking at it today and I forgot how heavy it was. But what you can do is then go in there if your family doesn't care for them that much, look up some recipes that isn't just like a pork chop on a plate. You can use that pork in other types of dishes, in casseroles and different types of things that with rice, or even like in Mexican food and things that your family may eat them better in those types of dishes, instead of just straight piece of pork or whatever.
Yep. All right. Now, this is something that's kind of controversial, but you may have to make things like your own homemade yogurt and buttermilk. I never bought buttermilk or yogurt for probably the first 15 or 20 years of our marriage.
Yeah.
I made my own homemade. I could make homemade yogurt right here, Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1 and Volume 2 has a different recipe. And the Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt is in our blue Volume 2 right there. And I never, ever bought yogurt packets for my kids.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even dream of buying something like that. The only time I bought them is when they were super, super cheap and I had them for a coupon and I got them for something like 20 cents a box. I bought them then, but I would never buy my children something like that.
Well, that
is such a waste of money.
Yeah, I always bought the buttermilk for years, or not made it. I mean, made the buttermilk because it got to where I would buy it, but I didn't do that many recipes that called for buttermilk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like I was wasting money because it would start to spoil on me. And then I'd have to go buy some new. But where if I let it sit in the refrigerator for a while and then decided, well, I'm going to need something in a couple of days, then I would make some up and that way I just felt like I was spending more money wasting on it. And it seemed to do better for me if I made my own, because then I could toss part of it out, get some starter again going for it, and that type of thing. So I saved money because I just wasn't wasting it, throwing it out.
And it's like, guys, it's not even 2 minutes worth of work for either of those.
And one thing you need to be a little bit careful, because a lot of people say they make their own buttermilk by using lemon juice or vinegar, and there is a slight difference. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do that.
But it's a good substitution.
It's a good substitution if you want. But there are some recipes that do call for buttermilk. I've got a cookie recipe that I can tell the difference when sour milk's used over buttermilk. And it's not even that bad of a difference either, because all what it does is it affects the leavening a little bit, not that much, but just slightly. The buttermilk just does something extra to it, but you can use the lemon juice and vinegar, but I just wanted you to know there is a difference in it.
The next one is you may have to eat margarine.
No.
I'll let you deal with that one, Mom. Go right ahead.
Well, I don't
particularly... And no, it is not one molecule away from plastic.
No, it's not. What's funny about that, this shows you how crazy things get started. There, for a while, everybody was saying that it was plastic. What it was, the French word for margarine, when they originally invented it, has the sound of plastic to it. So that's where that started coming. So then when people started here in the States and different English-speaking countries, they thought, well, that's made out of plastic, just because the name sounded like that. I think in French, I think that's the way it started out. But
if you can't afford butter, you can't afford butter. You may have to use something like margarine.
Now, I use margarine in my baking, and this is where you can do this again too. It's better to use margarine most of the time in most of the baking, because the consistency is better. Things don't burn. If you use butter on the outside of like chicken or something over margarine, it'll burn. If you roll your biscuits in butter instead of margarine and bake them, they'll burn much faster. So it's really better for your baking to use the margarine. So if you just can't stand the taste of margarine, at least start using it in your baking and that type of thing. Now, personally, I'm not dogmatic about any of it. I'd use both. But for years when I was younger, my mom, we went to the commissary in the military, and we got really good groceries for nothing. We got the best of the best, and it didn't cost us hardly anything. So I was raised on butter. And, I would get a pancake and I'd go to somebody else's house, because everybody back then used margarine because they said it was healthier for you. This is how ironic these things are. They just go through spells where they find out, oh, butter was bad for you, margarine's good for you. But I didn't like butter or the margarine just on something like a pancake. Well, I just didn't use it then. I would put syrup on and I can't tell the difference. I really can't. So don't get so stuck and so dogmatic and stuff, and see how you can make it work. Either don't use it or, adjust it, use it in something else, the things you can use it in. Just don't get hung up on these things.
All right. The next one is store brands. Guys, the store brands are made by the name brands. Now, of all the store brand products that we've bought, the only thing that we buy name brand of is Mike's Hershey syrup. For his birthday or Christmas, he will get that. Otherwise, everything else is store brand unless it's on sale in the same price. But even with that, the Hershey syrup in Dining on a Dime, Volume 1, the hot fudge sauce in Volume 1, Dining on a Dime, 40% off right now, guys. We only do this twice a year. That, he loves that just as much as Hershey syrup. All it is cocoa, water, and sugar.
If you've used any of our hot fudge recipes in there, pop in, let us know what you think of them, because they are good.
All right, the next one. Now, this isn't food, but a lot of people put this in their grocery bill. Diapers, napkins, and paper towels.
We could do a whole show on just
All right, you can use cloth diapers. Yes, they are still a very viable option. Kids have been peeing and pooping since time began. And it was only until the last probably 40 years that people really started using disposable diapers. Paper towels.
Can I tell them something on the diapers to make it easier for them to use them? When I use cloth diapers on both of my kids at different times, and what a lot of people don't realize, there's these little blue, what are those cloths called? They're just like a little blue.
Just a diaper liner, you mean?
Yeah, diaper liner. It's not very big, and you can buy a box of those. And they're not very, not near as expensive as buying regular other disposable diapers. But you buy those, and people don't know this because there's nobody to teach them this now. You take that little blue liner, and when I folded up my diapers to have them all ready to use them, I'd lay one of those liners in it and then stack the diapers up. And what that does is, if they mess in the diaper, you can just pick that little liner up, and some of them are flushable, or you can throw them in a plastic bag in the trash. And all you have to do is pick that up. So I never, maybe 3 times with 2 kids was the only time I ever had to rinse a diaper out in the toilet, because I always use those liners and I just toss them away. And unless they had excessive diarrhea, I never had to, there was nothing in the diaper except the wet. And then I would put them in the diaper pail. And then I think we have a thing. Do we have a video on using cloth diapers? I think we do. So go in and type cloth diapers, because we explain more how to, keep them in the diaper pail and not have the smell. And they're really not that hard once you get those liners to do that.
Yeah. Mike, did you get my comment?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of people don't do this and shy away because nobody's ever explained, to them how to do it.
The next one is paper towels. Guys, there's no reason to buy paper towels. Mom and I use maybe a roll of paper towels a year. Actually, since we've been in this house, I think I maybe used a half a roll of paper towels. I've used more paper towels during this remodel just for cleaning stuff like paintbrushes and stuff like that than I have in the entire 2 years we've lived here. And I've been through maybe a roll. But rags, use rags. Just cut up a t-shirt. We have a video on how to cut up a t-shirt. show you how to make rags. We just use those. Then if they're oily or greasy, we just throw them away.
Don't feel guilty about that. Tara washes some of hers.
I wash the
throw
non-greasy
almost
ones.
everything away. So just toss them. I mean, why is it so easy to toss a paper towel you paid for than to toss a rag that you didn't pay for?
Well, and the other thing is people say, well, I'm just going to have so much laundry. Are you kidding me? When I had when I had 5 kids and 2 adults living in my house, I literally had a stack this big every week. This was it, of rags for cleaning. And that included my dish rags. That included 7 dish rags because I get a fresh one every day. It doesn't take hardly any laundry at all. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell that you are going to have mounds and mounds of laundry if you use rags instead of paper towels. And it's just not true.
And the thing is, like, people will buy the Swiffler mops and that type of thing, and you throw a lot of those pads in to wash those over and over again. I use a rag in place of those, and I just toss mine out. So you're doing extra laundry by doing those, and I'm using my rags and not doing any laundry, or the microfiber rags. Everybody washes those.
So what do you use instead of rags? A wash rag and towels. I get a fresh wash rag every day. It's a fresh towel about every day or 2. And I just hang up a towel. We dry our hands on the towel. We wash everything with the wash rag with soap.
Yeah.
If I use meat, then I will change it out and get a fresh one.
Yeah. I use
Clorox. Bloody meat, cooked meat I don't, but bloody meat I mean.
And the thing is, if you think about it, that dish rags in soapy, if you're wiping down your cabinet, it should be in soapy water or you're using soap on it. So it's getting the rag clean as you're even doing it. And with the towels, you can use the towel a couple of times a day because you're washing your hands and rinsing them and putting them, your hands are clean and you're wiping them on a towel. So why people get paranoid about that, I don't know.
I don't know. Guys, our cookbooks are 40% off for our twice a year sale for Mother's Day. Well, for Mother's Day and Black Friday is the only 2 times we have that sale a year. Please go check them out. livingonadime.com is where you can find them. We are going to get to your questions now. Dana says, hi, guys. I think this will be the first time I catch it. Thank you. Oh. She loves us because we don't curse.
Oh,
that's changing today.
Oh, you're going to start cursing today after the day you had.
If I have to talk about my kitchen remodel today, I'm going to start cursing. I'm just warning you. No, I'm not. I'm just not going to talk about it. Kara, she just made our taco seasoning. It was so yummy. Kimberly says, what about red pepper flakes? How would you make them? So the way to make red pepper flakes is to grow red peppers, scoop out the seeds, and dry the seeds. That's all red pepper flakes are.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just buy them. I buy a bottle of red pepper flakes, every 10 years?
There's certain things like that you probably just have to buy, Yeah.
Bonnie is making the zucchini bread right now, and you are going to love it. It is so delicious.
Everybody loves the zucchini bread.
I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Ina's Reading Nook says, I don't use packets. I just buy random seasonings and toss them together to whatever feels right.
Yeah. See, that's big. Tara does the seasoning mixes that we have in the book, but me, I just grab mine out and toss them in.
Well, I mean, if it's something that I need to be specific on, but like fajitas and tacos and all that, I just shake the seasonings in there, like the cumin and the cayenne pepper, chili powder, whatever. I just sprinkle it in there now to taste, but
well, let me say this too real quick. I've always just done the separate seasonings myself, because if you have a packet of all mixed together for taco seasoning, then you can't use it for anything but you can't use the onion powder, the garlic powder, the stuff that's in there for anything but in the taco seasoning, where if I have it separate, I can use it all the different things.
Yeah. Jane, I stock up a Mrs. Dash salt-free when they are buy one, get one free, because I have issues with salt right here. I think it's volume 2 if you need a Mrs. Dash recipe. Let me just check real quick, because I think that's it. Yes, volume 2 is where you can find the Mrs. Dash copycat if you need it. Kathleen, and my son used to work at a pizza place and sub place, and one of the secrets is they put Mrs. Dash on the subs.
Oh,
That's what people like. So Kathleen, hi from New Hampshire. We're looking great tonight. How is the
Thank
kitchen
you.
coming along? I don't know if I can talk about that yet. I really don't know if I can talk about it yet.
They've had one of those days that it's just been
I,
like every 30 minutes.
I really don't know.
It's been
Angie, just purchased the cookbooks. Live in Brooklyn, New York. It's ridiculously expensive. $10.99 for organic milk alone. Yeah, don't buy organic milk. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't buy the. Yeah,
there's no reason to pay
really
$11 for a gallon of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Darren, hello, Darren, our London
hi,
friend.
Darren.
He is in Australia right now. Oh my
Oh, how envious we are.
And he loves your shampoo hack.
Oh, with the poo, poo, the soda, baking soda thing.
Or is that it? Or is it, I don't know which shampoo hack because we have a couple. Or is it just wash once? It might just wash once.
Yeah, that's one of the things is on the shampoo. Yeah. I always say just wash one time. The bottle says twice, but you don't wash your hands 2 times. Yeah. You wash your hands, rinse them off. You don't wash them again. So why do you do that with your hair? And you can save, just think of that. You can buy twice as much shampoo if you start doing that as what you used to,
Lorraine, freezing has been a huge money saving for our family. Yes. Sandy says, my husband and I made chicken fried steak from our 99 volume 1. That's Mike's favorite recipe. Is that your favorite recipe, dear?
Yes.
Tell them how much you love it.
Sorry, it took me a second. I love it. It's my favorite one. I actually asked for it for
birthday, don't you?
Stuff like that. And it tastes just like the restaurant kind, but it's a lot cheaper. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Why pay $20 for it when you can make it for $3, huh?
My hesitation is not eating too much of it.
Sandy says she froze half of it thinking of reheating it in the toaster oven. That's a great way to do things that are fried, and you freeze them. If you want to crisp them up again, just throw them in the oven or the toaster oven or the air fryer now, and it will just re-crisp the outside really nice for you. Marilyn Romola says, I cooked spaghetti sauce last night, Dining on a Dime Volume 1, and had it on spaghetti last night. Tomorrow, have it on ravioli. Yes.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
The same thing. Dining on a Dime Volume 2. We have taco meat. You make taco meat and you can get 7 different meals out of one taco meat recipe.
Yeah, I'm glad she mentioned that, because when we say make a double meal, it doesn't always have to be the whole meal. What you can do is like make the sauce, and then use it in the different ways. And so you've really got the hardest part done almost for each meal to do that.
Vicky, I made chili a while back and put it in single serving containers in the freezer. Yes, I still have one left, so all I do is throw it in a pan. Yep, that's exactly what I do with our chili, green chili, any soups, anything like that. I just pull it out, and it's a quick lunch for me.
Yeah.
Kathy, please show us your kitchen. We've been waiting, even if the new window isn't there.
It's not together. It really isn't together at all.
Thanks, Mom.
Well, it's not.
Thanks.
I mean, you have one.
Just let them know what a disaster my whole entire life is. My life is ruined. I will never get my life back. Vicky says, I absolutely love beans. Red beans and rice is yummy. Yes. Bonnie.
That's like Michael.
You are right. Cleaning a little time works. If you have 7 kids, she loves beans and rice too. Cynthia says, we have recently stopped buying any chips to snack on. We have never had any to begin with, but they have gotten outrageous in price. I love Fritos, but $6 for one more small bag. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Esther, she loves our ebook on slow cooker meals. Did we put those on sale, Mike?
What?
Did we put those on sale?
No.
The
ebooks.
The dining ebooks only? Okay. Nope, that's fine. I didn't know. Yes, we offered that one for free. And just a moment, I have to take care of
Just to check, you didn't just assume that she was taking me, right? She actually told you?
Can he call
I don't
him?
know. Okay, text Austin and see. If not, we'll have Dave run you over.
Okay.
Sorry. What time does it start? It doesn't start until 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have fun.
Sorry, guys. Text Austin or Miss Eichner on the thing. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that. We're having a youth group moment here. Kayla, small portions rule. Miss Jill taught me that.
Good.
What is that rule?
Well, take and eat smaller portions. make sure it's only a serving size, because we tend to eat way more food than we need, and we're eating twice as much. So if you eat half as much, you'll save half that on your grocery bill.
Yep.
So by just eating the right portion sizes.
Janie says, howdy from Southern Ohio, where I'm eating a piece of delicious white cake, volume 1. Oh my goodness.
We've
this
had
is
a couple
so
people mention our
good.
white cake. Yeah.
It is moist and delicious, and it is so, so good. And if you are gluten-free, you will not even know this is gluten-free. It is so good. The white
we have
cake
it. We have it. The white
the
cake
gluten-free.
in the regular
Also,
dining and in gluten is what she's
I'm
saying.
just saying, yeah. And then Lori says, I want to learn how to cook red beans and rice right here in Dining on a Dime, volume 2. Sarah says, I just drew up my mortgage this past Saturday and I paid $500 to lock in my interest rate. So I hope I'm clear from this. It's not May yet. That would be great.
Yeah.
If you can get a lower interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, we call it Sharon's buffets, the leftovers.
Yes.
Holly says, we are a family of 11. May Jesus help you.
Be with you at all times.
I couldn't handle the 4.5 that I had. We are a family of 11. We triple cook sometimes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And that's what you got to do to keep your sanity.
Yeah, for some.
Angie likes your sweater.
Oh, thank you.
Patricia says, I cut the instructions off the bag of rice and put it in the container. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lacey says, we use it all. Long grain, wild, and minute rice. We use dry and canned beans. It all depends on how busy I am. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way.
That is a good tip. You can keep, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are some nights you do need the minute rice, and then there's other nights you've got more time. And that goes with instant potatoes or regular potatoes, you know. So
Kathleen wants to know, where do we find the cookbooks? Livingonadime.com is where you can get them 40% off. Our semi-annual sale of 40% off only happens twice a year.
Michael put the link in there in the comments for you.
Jan says, a dehydrator is worth the money. How long does dehydrated food last? Oh my goodness. I have some that's several years old that we're still using.
It just depends on what the food is, what you're dehydrating. But yeah, most of it lasts a long time. And I love my dehydrator.
And Kimberly found a dehydrator at the Salvation Army in the box for $8.
Oh,
$7.99.
wow.
Yep.
That's good.
Lori, long-term food storage is so expensive. Any tips for that? Like dehydrated foods and freeze-dried. Patriot Supplies. Don't buy Patriot Supplies. Listen, I don't know anything about the company. I'm sure they're a really good company, and I'm sure all their products are great. I haven't actually tried them. They have asked me for years to be a sponsor, but I cannot, in all good conscience, sponsor freeze-dried and dehydrated meals like that when you can do it at home for cheaper. Just go get you some canned goods. I should just buy it for a comparison to show you how much food you can get for the same money. But I don't want to bash a company, because I'm sure they're a really nice company. But there's all kinds of these dehydrated type companies out there. And for the same price, you can get literally 5, 6, sometimes 10 times the amount of food in canned form or already dehydrated form, like rice and potato flakes. You don't have to buy anything special for that.
No. Well, I was going to say, most canned goods have a pretty good expiration date on them.
Yeah, like 10, 20 years.
Yeah. So, you know, if you rotate them out, that means I've got stuff that I bought 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I'm already using those and I'm replacing them with new stuff. And if you keep doing that, unless something really weird happens, which I hope will be raptured out of here before that, but unless something weird happens, you can keep canned goods for many years, you know, especially if you keep rotating them out.
Debbie says store brand is just as good. Yes, it is. Vicky says beans and rice take no time at all. I put it in my rice cooker and my beans on the stove and walk away. She lets the appliances do the work for her. Yes.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, I just happened to think of, is once you start doing this stuff, you find out how to do it. It gets easier for you. Practice makes everything for anything go easier. And so it may be difficult the first 2 or 3 times you're starting to cook this stuff. You're going to have to learn a few little tricks of the trade. You know, that's why the cookbooks help, is because it'll tell you what to do, what not to do. But once you do this a few times, I've used this example before. I saw a thing in a book one time where this older lady, she said, was trying to teach a gal to bake pies, and the gal said, I just can't do pies. She said, you bake 14 pies every day and you'll be able to bake a pie. And that goes with that sounds overwhelming.
14 pies for 14 days.
14 days,
Not
yeah.
14 pies in one day.
No, for 14
You can
days.
if you want, but
But the point she was trying to make was not that you have to make 14 pies, but that once you've practiced this 14 times, it'll be so easy you won't even think about doing it.
Patsy wants to know how much for all of the cookbooks, 40% off right now for our Mother's Day sale. Just run over there and check, because all three are different prices because they're different sizes. Single Guy Simple Life. I did a twist on my brownie recipe in Dining on a Dime Volume 1. And he said it still tastes very delicious.
Oh, you could add marshmallows on top of it, and broil them.
Oh, yeah.
Melt
Nuts
them,
and coconut.
You can put
caramels.
more extra chocolate chips in
Yeah.
there,
You can do all kinds of
put
things.
frosting on top of them.
Susan says your hamburger casserole is good. It makes a lot. Thank you.
Oh.
Yes, volume 1. And all these recipes are free at livingonadime.com. You can just go do our search on our website, Living on a Dime, and test the recipes if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Vicky says, I eat the same meals all the time. It's a lot easier than coming up with new recipes. Yep.
Yeah.
Bonnie says, my nanny always made roast beef and mashed potatoes and green beans and Jell-O salad. Yeah, I mean, that's literally
And listen,
a 10-minute
she can
prep
tell
dinner.
you exactly what she ate, and you can tell there's always, a comfort with that, or something feels good about that.
Cleaning Geek says, do you mainly buy tinned fruit? Oh, they must be over the big pond. Do you mainly buy tinned fruit and veggies or fresh fruit? I've switched to tinned, but wonder if I'm being lazy. Nearly paid off the house thanks to you guys kicking me into being disciplined. I mean, you're probably going to lose some nutrition buying fresh over canned, but you're really not going to lose that much. I mean, you'll lose the fiber in the peels by not having the apple peel and the peach peels, but really in the big scheme of things, no, it's not that big of a deal.
They have done studies that say that there's actually more nutrients in canned goods because they take them so quickly
That's
from
true.
the field,
well, frozen,
and process them.
Actually, if you want the nutritional value, they say it's frozen first, then canned, then fresh, depending on the nutrients.
Because the fruit can sit for a long time before they finally get to you, and so it's really almost better to get the frozen or the canned. I shouldn't say better. It's a toss-up. I don't think they each have their pros and cons, and you can't lose out on whichever one you use.
Stephanie, I buy that large bag of chicken quite often. Yes. Oh, and you know what? Back to the vitamins and minerals. Most Americans are not lacking in their vitamins.
She's not from America.
Well, any first or second world country, most people aren't lacking in their vitamins and minerals. Now, maybe if you live in Africa or India, somewhere where you literally only eat like rice all day long or something like that, then you're going to be missing in your vitamins and minerals. But if you have a normal diet, average diet, you're not going to be losing that much.
Because you're supposed to eat 7 fruits and vegetables, and people in their mind translate that for some reason that you need to get 7 vegetables and 7 fruits, but that's combined, so we really almost get more than we need of those things.
Stephanie buys a large bag of chicken like that often. Oh, did I say that? Sorry. Denise says, I think you need to do some videos on how to cut those chicken leg quarters up and how to cut up a chicken. So many people don't know how to do it. Yeah. Although that video would not be popular because people just don't want to do it. Even if I show how super easy it is, they would not click on that video because they don't want to do it.
One thing, I'll just give you a tip here that helps a little bit if you're cutting up a chicken, is get a good pair of kitchen shears. I didn't even have a good pair of kitchen shears. I just had a regular pair of scissors. And I, a lot of times, would cut it with the knife faster and easier than if I used with the scissors instead of a knife.
Bonnie loves our show. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Cynthia says she saw the chicken quarters for 59 cents a pound. Very good. Mike, can you send me the next batch? Vicky, I'm guilty. I usually buy chicken broth. Oh. I'm just kidding. But only when it's on a really good sale in stock. Listen, it's just all it is those little, they just take the little, they don't actually boil chickens to make the chicken broth. Just in case you guys didn't know this. Unless you buy the frozen kind. If you buy the frozen kind,
really high and expensive from special boutique shops.
Yeah. If it's frozen or possibly canned, But most of the cheap chicken bouillon chicken stock is just chicken bouillon cubes that they just add water to.
Mhm.
Wanda says, I know homemade noodles would be cheaper and tastier, but I can't make them for various reasons. Which store-bought tastes the closest to homemade? I think just test the different ones and see what you want. The one that's ramen or something. I don't know.
What is
Starts with an R.
REAMES or something like
I
that?
don't know. Okay, somebody gave it, and I'll look down here. Esther, you showed me how to pre-cook hamburger meat, portion into fold top sandwiches, and put in large fruit. Yep. Pull
Very
out
good.
one portion at a time. I pulled out a baggie last night, and we had tacos.
You don't need to put everyone in a fancy freezer bag. You can put them
No.
all in the full top
Yeah.
sandwich bags and then put them in one big freezer bag.
Miss T says homemade chicken broth cooked with bones in it will help your immune system. Yes, it does. Music Mad, I have made noodles for centuries. The one and only time I didn't look at the flour bag and it turned out it was self-rising flour. They were poofy and weird.
Yeah, they would be.
Randy, what about fish? I don't know what your question is, so if you want to put it back in there, I don't know what about fish. Vicky, I made enchilada burger burritos. I've never heard of an enchilada burrito, but okay. And they taste just as good as going to the Mexican restaurant and much cheaper. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds
it would
good.
be.
Mhm.
Paula, just ordered a copy of Volume 1 and Volume 2. Can't wait to get them. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
Thank you. Volume 1 is the red one, and Volume 2 is the blue one, and the green one is our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. Vicky, if you look at someone's bank account, you know exactly what their priorities are. Yep.
That is so true.
I know.
I'm
telling you.
so true.
Mom and I have not found one person. I did some consulting, and this lady told me, "Oh, there's just no way I'm so frugal, but I just don't know what I'm going to do, and I need your advice." So she paid me to go over her budget, and I did. And in 1 hour, I found her $2,400.
Mhm.
Just in 1 month, I found her $2,400.
I watch some of the other frugal YouTubers and things, and they say, this is so frugal. And I'm sitting there thinking, I could cut that in half of what they're doing, the amount that they paid or did for something.
Problem is people don't want to do it.
Yeah. And
So.
I don't think people don't really study it. Now, you guys are really doing good because you're trying to figure out, by watching us, you're trying to figure out how to save. And so you guys are really up there in the good.
Sandy says, I buy egg noodles, 79 cents a bag, not on sale. I can't make them for that. Well, actually you can. It's only about 20 to 25 cents for a bag to make equivalent of a bag of noodles, but 79 cents is nothing when you can get 3 or 4 meals out of that one bag of noodles. So just buy the bag of noodles. It's no big deal. Simon's Human. I know so many people who are not only food snobs, but also just throw food out because they don't because they look down at leftovers. Yep. I know. Yeah. Cleaning geeks, I think it's an attitude of not being able to afford things, and it's not an actual reality. Yes, that's true. Linda, did you say you were going to do a video on how to use utensils in the kitchen and make things easier to clean up? I don't know if we did or not, but we're changing the way we're doing our non-live videos, and so we're going to start showing some of that in our cooking videos.
We had a meeting the other day.
Leslie, my 6th grade daughter and I are having girls spa night and making some of our homemade beauty recipes right here, Dining on a Dime, Volume 1, right there. We are making the recipes for the bath salts now. All of our recipes are wonderful.
I was going to show some of
We
those
have all
tonight.
3 of your cookbooks, and my husband and boys love your dinner recipes, and meals are much less stressful now. Thank you, and happy early Mother's Day. Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Pam Reams. It's Rings, RHEAMS. Thank you, Pam.
So we don't have to
stumble
over it anymore.
Because, there's ramen noodles and there's Reams noodles. So anyway, Patricia, I look at it this way. Pre-cooking my hamburger saves a couple of minutes, but it adds up along the way. Yes,
it does. It really does. Yeah.
Lori, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, not only that, but for some reason in my mind, if I get home and I'm tired, if I've got that meat cooked, the meat is the hardest part for me to cook or to think of what to have even, where if I got something already cooked like the hamburger, I will grab a tortilla shell, and throw something in there or do something like that, or just cook up some noodles. It's just like you've got half of the meal fixed if you've got the meat cooked. And so you're more mentally willing to cook some more.
I have packets of meat in my freezer, just all done. All the time. Lori, I boil my chicken quarters and use the meat for various things. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Cheryl, how long will homemade mayonnaise last? About a week to 10 days. About a week, though, is where I would go with that. And if you need that recipe, it's in Volume 1, the red one. Patricia, I just learned how to make homemade buttermilk. Yes, that's in volume 1 also. And all these recipes, guys, that we're talking about are livingonadime.com. You can go in there and find them. Maybe I don't know. I'll see if I can link all of these later, but livingonadime.com, just go search bar.
Yeah, just search in there.
Frankie loves us.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Frankie. Another thing too, besides the homemade tasting bitter and stuff, there may be a shortage on things sometimes. You know, eventually the mayonnaise, the mustard, the ketchup, all the seasonings, different things. And so having these recipes, this book with the recipes, you know, you can make your own if you have to.
Yep. Debbie says, I make my own ranch dressing and it's so much better than the store-bought and takes just a few minutes. Dining on a Dime, Volume 1, ranch dressing.
We've got a couple of different
It's
dressings in there.
Super delicious. And let me tell you, we sold spices as a fundraiser for the homeschool co-op 2 weekends ago.
Spices from the book.
And what I did was I let them use the recipes from our Dining on a Dime cookbook. And every single person was raving about the ranch dressing. I sold out of that. I think it was like an hour and a half and I was sold out of it because people loved it so much. Jane, buy real butter and freeze it when it's on sale. Yes, but you may not be able to afford real butter at $1 a pound. You may have to buy margarine at $1 a pound. So, or $2 a pound. I mean, you may have to buy margarine at $1 a pound. So if you get to the point where you really need to save money, margarine is a way to save a lot of money.
Yeah, that's one way to save. But what she's talking about, if you have to really get down to the nitty gritty of saving, you may have to do the margarine.
You may just have to use margarine. There was years, probably 10 years, I didn't even buy butter at all. I did not buy butter, period, for probably the first 10 to 15, probably 15 years that we were first married. It was a super long time before I even started buying butter. So, Diane, I like to use my pressure cooker to cook up potatoes, like the small red ones for the week. Clean it out and do a bunch of carrots. Clean it out and then cook chicken breasts and tenders. I don't mind eating the same thing for a week. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, is there a substitute I can use for dry milk in making yogurt? Do I use plain yogurt for your recipe? So, our How to Make Yogurt in Dining on a Dime Volume 1. There's not really a substitute. You can make it without the dry milk. The dry milk just gives it a little bit more bulk to it. So you can make it without the dry milk. Try it once and see if you like it without the dry milk. And if you don't like it, you could also get and put a teaspoon of gelatin in there. And that will make it a little bit more firm also. Yes. And yes, use plain yogurt. Lori, what about shortening? I don't know what the question is on shortening, but yes, we use shortening all the time, but it is not necessarily cheaper than butter.
Yeah, now. It's getting kind of expensive now for some reason. But I've always used a lot of bacon grease. There's a lot of times you can use bacon grease without having to use shortening butter or margarine. So start saving your bacon grease and using it.
Yep. Lacey, do we ship to Ontario, Canada? I'm very sorry, but due to Canadian laws, we cannot ship anything outside the US to Canada. And we can't ship out to Europe because of European laws. So you can thank your governments for that. I'm very sorry.
She can get the ebook though.
Yeah, just go get the ebook.
You can get the ebook.
But Mike said the ebooks are on sale. I'm not exaggerating. We were losing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars shipping outside the US.
when we were trying to do that.
I could not do it anymore. I was just losing too much money. Priscilla says, I believe your hair suds doesn't lather properly until the second go of shampoo. It doesn't matter. The lather doesn't matter.
And here's another, what happens a lot of times when people are shampooing their hair and it's not lathering up, what they do is they add more shampoo, add a little bit more water, just dampen your hair, stick your head back in the shower and get a little bit more with the shampoo that's in there, just get a little bit more wet and it'll just lather right up then.
Jane, are y'all opposed to microwave to heat leftovers and frozen meals? No. Use your microwave.
Yeah.
My goodness.
As a matter of fact, I was one of those people years ago when I was young that I hated the taste. I hated the taste of leftovers, especially if it had been in the freezer and then reheated. But even when it was warmed up in a pan, I did not like them. But when the microwave came out, I started eating leftovers all the time because it doesn't change the flavor for some reason as much.
Vicky, when ham was on sale for Easter, I took it home and put it in 4 freezer bags. Now I have 4 ham dinners. Yep.
Very good.
Yep. Joshua, hello.
Hi,
He's up to
Joshua.
378 subs. He loves cooking out of our cookbooks. Go check out
He's
Joshua
so
Talks
sweet.
Food, guys. He's a great channel. Nancy, when you get used to simple and good home cooking, eating out isn't such a big deal. Yeah. I'm very picky about eating out now because
it's getting harder for me. Yeah.
Perry Patriot says chicken leg quarters at her Walmart was $1.38 a pound. Well, that's still way cheaper than $3 a pound for the chicken breasts.
Yeah.
Randy, it would be nice to see how long some of your fast recipes take. So if you go over to Super Easy Recipes, Mike, can you put the link in there? That's my other YouTube channel where I'm doing my recipes from my cookbook and our website. And you can see how quick and easy they are, because they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Deidre, do you need a strainer for your yogurt recipe? No, not unless you're making the Greek yogurt. If you're making the Greek yogurt, you can strain it because the Greek yogurt takes some of the water out. That's how it gets thick. But you don't need to if you don't want to. Nancy, volume 1 is amazing, kind of heavy, but volume 2 is also worth the price. Ask for volume 1 for Mother's Day, birthdays, or any occasion. Yes.
You know, too, I was going to mention later on, but I'll just do it here. Graduations are coming up. Besides Mother's Day, there's graduations.
Weddings.
And a lot of these kids are going off to different places, and they may want to start cooking themselves when they graduate. And then weddings are coming up. It's wedding season, you know, and it's a great shower gift or even a wedding gift or whatever. So,
Paula says our Kroger has this week 80% ground beef, 3-pound roll, $9 basically. Regular price is $14. Yep, that is
very good.
Everybody wants to know what happened to Mike and how is he doing. Yes. Okay, I'll just let you, Mr. Man behind the curtain, tell him how you're doing.
Oops. Sorry, it took me a second to get me switched on. I'm doing a lot better. I'm getting around quite a bit. I'm able to walk and I'm able to get around quite a bit. There's a little bit of pain, but it's probably less than it was before already. And I went to the doctor and he said everything's looking great. And the pain that I have is just from the place where they did the most work. So it's actually coming along awesome. And I'm really glad. So thank you everyone for asking, and thank you for prayers and all that.
So for those of you who don't know, he had knee surgery 2 weeks ago.
And if you see us looking off to the side, Mike was looking this direction, he's right over there and we can see him. That's why we look at him talking sometimes.
Karen, I prefer butter and get it in bulk and freeze it. That's fine. But if you get into a real crisis where you have to save money on your grocery bill, you may have to use margarine.
Yeah,
and that's what we're talking about. You may not be able to be persnickety if you are in a true financial pinch.
You know, I like butter too, really, really well. I prefer it over margarine. But what we were talking about is if you're trying to save money and get out of debt or things get really tight, then you may have to change some of these habits and just give up things. You know, I love having a cup of coffee in the morning, but I went a long time without ever being able to buy coffee, even cheap coffee to make at home. I couldn't buy because I didn't have the money to do it. And that's what we're trying to say is, you know, we may have to give up some things is if you're in debt and you're trying to get your finances under control. So
Cleaning Geek says, Mrs. T, thanks for sharing. Oh, she must have been sharing something about saving money. She said, I sometimes feel alone trying to save in funny ways. Sacrifice and discipline is so important to be financially responsible. Yep.
That's true.
Yeah. Vicky, I buy whatever butter is cheapest. Once you put it in food, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cindy, my husband is a cardiac patient. His cardiologist actually recommended margarine. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
They
used to do that all the time. They said margarine was much better for you when the doctors recommended it.
Joni, I have realized how much we've been eating in excess lately, and I've cut back, and now we've saved so much and feel much better.
Very good.
Mrs. T says a baked potato also makes a nice lunch. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Send me the next batch, Mike. Esther says I use margarine in my cooking recipes. I don't bake. I save the butter for something like a baked potato. Yes.
Exactly. That's what I do too. Mm-hmm.
Randy says, remember old-fashioned meatloaf. My grandkids will not eat it because of how it looks. Okay, funny. Make it into meatballs then. My goodness.
That's funny. But I don't like meatloaf normally, especially the ones that use ketchup. I have a recipe where I don't use any ketchup.
Yeah, we have a really good recipe in volume 1. for regular meatloaf, and volume 2, the blue one right there, has extraordinary meatloaf in it, and it is really, really good meatloaf. So
what's good too is to put a little bit of cheese or something in it. Sometimes
Yeah.
the kids, if cheese is in it, kids will eat it more.
Nancy says, listening to us lovely ladies as she's sitting waiting for a tow truck. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I feel for you. I feel
Been there and done that a few
Yeah.
times.
As a matter of fact, I've got a book in the car. Every time I get in my car, I bring a book or sewing with me because I'm just, I could break down, and that's what I do when I'm waiting for tow trucks or something like that.
Angie says, hello, I'm new here. I have a question. What are your thoughts about organic? Oh, you don't want to know my thoughts on organic.
Hi, Angie.
She says, we budget carefully and people around us are emphasizing the importance of purchasing organic. It's just so expensive. Okay, so we did a whole video on this that we had to close the comments on, but you can still watch the video. So we did a whole video on this. Just type in the word organic when you search YouTube and you will find that video. But what is our feelings on organic?
You're going to throw it over to me, aren't you? Tara and I, this is our business. So we have spent many years now researching this stuff and checking into it and checking everything out. And there's really not that much difference. There is, as far as I know, there's no difference in organic anything.
There's not pesticides, but nutritionally, there's no difference.
No, there's not. And it was a marketing thing that they started a few years back, and people have jumped on the bandwagon. One article I read years ago, it was the CEO of a company, and they were having a big board meeting, and they were just starting out with organic things to come out with it. And the guys on the board meeting, one of the guys said, well, how in the world are we going to market this stuff to people to sell it? Because it's so much more expensive. How can we do that? Because it's exactly the same as what regular food is. So how in the world are we supposed to market this stuff? And the guy said, listen, if we tell them enough, we'll just tell them that it's healthier for them, and you go that route, that it'll help with heart disease and do that, people will buy it like crazy. And sure enough, it's a famous company too. That said this. And so sure enough, I remember when they started advertising this stuff, it was going to, and they always use the words, it's interesting. They always say, it may help with heart. It may increase this. It may do that, or it could, or it's thought to, or there's doing studies on it that it might. These studies that they're doing on, they don't have to even complete them where they start pushing this stuff, and the study may end up showing that it doesn't do anything good. So really, there's not a whole lot. You're just paying for something that we've kind of been brainwashed into believing.
Well,
and
go ahead.
Well, and if you really, really want to do the organic, to save money, what you can do is think about this. Don't buy organic oranges. It's got a big, thick peel on it. You can just peel it. A banana, you can just peel it. Those types of things, if you're worried about the pesticides, and that's usually why people do, you can buy stuff like that have peels on it. Why are you buying those organic, and that type of thing? And
I will tell you that I used to make soap and sell soap, and I haven't forgot you, Kimberly. We went to a soap conference one time, and there was a Stanford chemistry professor. He's very famous in the soap world, very famous. I think it was Stanford. And we asked him, we said, okay, do you mind telling us about this organic thing? Because everybody keeps saying, if you eat regular food and you don't eat organics, you're going to die because you're not eating organic food. And he said, people are going to die more from the stress of worrying about organics than the minute amount of pesticides that actually get into your food and get into your body that you poop out anyway. He said it's not even a consideration as far as being healthy enough and good for your body and that kind of stuff. He said the amount of pesticide use and the amount of pesticides that actually get into the food is so minute that you're going to die from the stress of it. And we notice people are more stressed over worrying about organics than just eating a normal, healthy diet and just moving on with life and not worrying about. Mom's mom is turning 95 next week, and she has never had an organic thing touch her mouth. I had another grandmother die at 93. My grandfather died at 93. My other grandmother died at my grandfather, 101, I think is how old he was, or 100. They never ate organic foods. Never. And well, I shouldn't say that.
When they were
Some
little,
of the
probably.
grandparents maybe did on the farm for the first, 10 years. But I know my great grandmother, she was ecstatic when she had to stop.
Yeah, when she could
Canning
buy just canned,
foods.
regular old canned stuff. Yeah.
And even today, I saved up. I have a mason jar, a quart mason jar that I've been saving bacon grease. I was going to send it to one of our viewers because she wanted some bacon grease. I'm like, I've got bacon grease coming out the wazoo. I'll just send it to you. I was saving it in the bacon grease in the jar. The jar was room temperature. I poured the bacon grease in there and it cracked. And I lost all the bacon grease. People worry so much about this stuff. Stop worrying about it. Just buy the food, eat it, and move on with your life.
And the stress from being in debt, from spending so much money on the food that you can't afford, is worse, harder on you than, anything like that. And also, one last thing, when people don't realize, now more people are having to go to the hospital or are getting sick from eating organic because they're getting things like E. coli and different bacterial type stuff because of the stuff a lot of places are using for organic. The fertilizers and stuff that they're using is not good, and it's can cause people to get sick from the organic foods. And then one last thing, I just went straight out of my head. I'm sorry. If I think of it, we can go back to it.
Wanda says, did I try the Tetley tea? I did. It is close, but it wasn't quite the same as Fallon's. So I don't know if American Tetley tea is different than the British. I don't know, but it was close, but not quite the same. Let's see. Wanda, I want to know why on mixed vegetables, the green beans are twice as big as the rest of the vegetables. It drives me nuts. I don't know. Apparently that drives Mike nuts too.
Mike.
I don't know.
I just happen to think on the organic, you have to be careful. They said now that organic foods have become such a big business that a lot of them aren't following the standards, and they're actually using pesticides and fertilizers without you realizing it. So, you don't always get what you think you're getting.
Paula, do cans with pull tops tabs last as long as other cans? No, they don't. Actually, I've had many people tell me that they don't last as long. The pull tabs do not last as long. They pop quicker than just the regular cans. Simple Guy, Simple Life. I use old socks and cloths instead of paper towels. Yep. Katie Lynn says, what do you recommend for people with a real shopping addiction? Stop it. Just stop it.
Well, you need to replace it with something else. Usually,
and not food.
Yeah, not food. Something
take up embroidery.
That's usually what happens. And don't go cold turkey. I mean, you need to just gradually think of something else you can do. Usually when people go shopping and have a shopping addiction, it's because it's a lot of times like an emotional thing. A lot of people eat chocolate or go do eat a lot of stuff and things like that. So find another, it's going to happen. Figure out the times that it's going to happen to you. When do you usually end up doing the shopping? Is it a certain time of day? Is it when you're under stress over certain things? Figure out when you do it, why you do it, and then try to find some other hobby, something else. If you use the excuse, well, I can walk around the mall and get exercise, go walking someplace else. Just figure out one gal said one time she put all of her credit cards in the freezer and froze them in a block of ice. And so that by the time she would get them out of the freezer and get melted, the urge to go shopping was gone. So you just try something that might work for you. Just find something else different.
Clean says, I literally had to just stop going, but found watching videos of Tara's thrift shopping good to get my fox without spending any.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Hello, friend.
Well, and
Guess
that's
who's on here?
Another thing too is start taking the money the actual cash that you would have maybe spent that day. Say you spend an average of $50 to $100 when you go shopping. When you have that urge, you take those $1 bills or something and count them out and put them in a special jar and think, what can I buy or do with this money special that is more constructive than just shopping.
Homeroom Tried says, I was told rags hold a lot of bacteria. The reason I use paper towels. No, that's a lie. First of all, you can bleach the rags.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you run them through the dryer kills any bacteria. If you hang them on the clothesline, the sun and just being dry, bacteria grows in wet environments. It's dead when it's dry. So as long as that rag gets dry, you're fine.
And also, like in the bathroom, I use the rags with the disinfected like Dow bathroom cleaner. You know, I use that. It kills all germs. Or if you use something else similar to that kills all the germs, you've got that rag rubbing those cleaning
Just use the
products
antibacterial
around.
cleaner.
How is that going to, help you with the germs when the cleaner you're using?
But it's not even the cleaner. It's just the scrubbing action kills bacteria.
That's what people don't realize.
We just use soap and water for all of our kitchen stuff. I look at all these cleaning shows of people cleaning their kitchen and organizing their kitchen.
3 or 4 products in the kitchen for just the kitchen.
With all these sprayers?
Mm-hmm. But it is a rubbing action that kills the germs. And
it breaks it up. So Music Mad for rags, I found at the dollar store packs of face cloths for $1, 10 for $1. I have them everywhere, use different colors for different jobs. That's a great idea.
Speaking of face cloths, I just can't believe it. People are wanting to save the environment. And so I saw these gals in another country and they're knitting makeup things to wipe their makeup off. I'm thinking, and they're so proud that they're saving the environment. They went and bought all this yarn that has to be processed in a factory most of the time with a label on it and all that. And they're making stuff just to take their makeup off. I'm thinking, why not just use a wash rag? Why does anybody buy, even at the store, the boughten ones to take your makeup off? I have like half a dozen little white wash rags that I use just for my face to take the makeup off. So, you don't need to buy all these extra things.
But I'm not going to be taking makeup off anymore because I'm not going to be able to buy makeup anymore.
Oh,
99 says bird's eye diapers and served into dish rag size. I also use bar mop cloths and wash once a week with bleach to ensure no bacteria.
Yeah, the bleach kills everything.
Spatch, hi from New England. Always enjoy our banter and tips. Well,
Thank you.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Excuse me. Please forgive me. That's one place I actually wanted to visit was New Zealand.
Right before I came over here, it's so funny. I watched a family from New Zealand that was trying grilled cheese sandwiches. They'd never had American grilled cheese sandwiches. And they loved them in tomato soup. They thought that was so cool.
If you guys need, Mike, send me the next batch, please. We have like 10 different ways to make grilled cheese sandwiches in our Dining on a Dime cookbook right here. They are super tasty. That's volume 2. The blue one's volume 2.
Would that be fun to do for like teenage kids or young kids' party where they pick out the different, have like a grilled cheese bar, for a fun get together?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Mike's sending me, hold on, the questions. Oh, here they are. When my kids were little, I make powdered milk with water and then mix with regular milk. Yep, some people have done that. Darlene did that. Liz, coming in late, so this may have been asked. What do your food portion size look like? I feel like I really over portion everything. Well, first of all, just start measuring to see what a portion is. And after you do it so long, you will recognize that a portion, 3 ounces of meat is the size of an average woman, like a real woman, not these fake women, men running around in women's clothes. Like a real woman's hand is 3 ounces of meat. So you'll know that. Your whole hand would be a cup of raw vegetables. So just start measuring it and you'll get to get
You only have to measure for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and you'll get a good eye of how much that is. A half a cup or a quarter cup, is like, you do my fist.
Yeah. Darlene, do you have a recipe for kefir? I do not. Bacteria foods make me sick, so I don't eat them. Jane, I put varieties of dried beans into mason jars, but I didn't do the oven method. Do I need to worry about bugs? No, please don't waste your time doing the oven method. I know there are tons of people who are canning flour, which I think is the most ridiculous thing. I'm sorry if you can flour. I'm sorry. I know it will last probably 5 or 10 years, but guys, just buy your flour and rotate it out. If you really want to get serious, buy some oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags. You can do it that way. But this wasting good canning jars and time and energy on canning flour and beans is ridiculous. So no, you won't have any problem. Usually beans don't have a problem with bugs anyways. It's usually your flours.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi, I made your Rice Krispie treats and they are yummy, better than the recipe and the marshmallow in the bag. Right here. Thank you. Dining on a Dime, Volume 2. I have also used our honey baked chicken, Volume 1, and our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook because it's gluten-free, dairy-free. And she has it in the oven right now. Diana Eeks, a friend told me she spends $100 a month on Starbucks chai tea.
I know.
And she can't afford groceries, probably. Don't get me started. Patricia, it's a shame I hear my friends complain that they can't make it, but I see them changing their ways to help them move forward, and I am not going to help them. Yes, but I don't see them changing their ways. Yeah. I'm sorry. If you're going up to the food bank in a brand new car and fancy nails and fancy purse and clothes and high heels that are brand new and all this stuff, no, it's wrong. It's just wrong. And people do it all the time. And I know there's exceptions to the rule or whatever, but let me tell you, that's like 0.001% of the people. So
yeah, if you don't work,
you don't eat.
You don't eat. The Bible actually says that. And it also says be a wise steward of your money. I don't think we emphasize that enough. And there's a reason the Bible says to be a wise steward of your money, because if you're in debt all the time, you are stressed and it hurts your body. God always gives us these commandments to make us better, and to help us, not to, because he knew what we were going to do. He knew that we would do these types of things and spends our money on stuff instead of buying our stuff we need, and then we'd stress.
And for those of you who say I don't quite quote the Bible verses enough, 2 Thessalonians 3:10, if a man will not work, he shall not eat. So there you go.
That's what it is.
All right. Kim says she loves cooking the hamburger and freezing it in little packets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie, my husband was bragging about how I save money to his friends. He said, you guys have to watch Living on a Dime. They are so good. Oh, you just give your husband a big hug and kiss. Tell him thank you so much. You want me to give you a big smooch for him, dear?
I don't know why I think that's so cute when the husbands and the kids watch us too. I just think that's a complete crack up. I love it.
For all you people who have my voice in your head, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Debbie, my husband was bragging about how I save money to his friends. He said, you guys have... Oh, wait, that's the wrong... Yeah. Sorry. Patricia, Jill, I like the idea of storing your cooked hamburger in sandwich bags. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, it's much easier to find in the freezer. Yes, I just put... Okay, so for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I take like 5 or 10 pounds of hamburger, cook it up at once. Usually it's 5 pounds because that's easiest. Cook it all up at once, drain it, let it cool, and then I just take the cheapy sandwich bags that have the fold top, okay? Not the zipper top, but the fold top. Put them in there. They're like 2 cents a bag. Put those in there, and then I put all of those in a big freezer bag with the zipper, and then I just pull out a packet, a family size portion packet, and dinner is in like 5 minutes because my meat is already cooked. So that's how I did. So she will be making homemade crackers from Dining on a Dime.
I'm glad
Volume 1.
that you're making the crackers.
I haven't made those forever. What is the shelf life? Oh, quite a while. I don't know what the shelf life would be, but my goodness.
For the homemade crackers,
I would
be the
say,
same as well, I don't know.
Is there oil in it? I can't remember. It depends on if there's oil. I can't remember the exact recipe because it's been so long since I made it. But let me look real quick here. If there's oil, 413. If there's oil, it's not as long. Oils are the ones that things go rancid. And so
and on some of these recipes, if you need
there's butter in it. So I would say, I don't know, probably
at least a
couple
of weeks.
Yeah, probably a couple of
weeks. And
weeks.
if you need to, you can have these recipes if you're worried about not using them up fast enough.
Lisa says, we share so much that her grandmothers and mothers have taught her. Yay.
That's because these are our grandmother's recipes, a lot of them too. That's probably why.
She's Dane, I think is what her name is, says, I love your tips and advice. Do we substitute applesauce for eggs and meatloaf? No, I don't. I just use eggs. They're back down now. And guys, when eggs were expensive, I just stopped using eggs so much. I just didn't cook things that needed eggs as much. So That's how I fight inflation is I just don't buy them.
When you have something like that, you probably wouldn't feed a family of 5 scrambled eggs in the morning. Instead save those eggs to put in the meatloaf or where you just need 1 or 2 type of thing.
Priscilla says, my 18-year-old daughter is now on vitamin D3 pills and iron injections. How do I avoid this? She eats well. Well, so does she eat milk with vitamin D added to it? Does she eat beef or does she eat liver with iron? Otherwise, just let her take the pills. I mean, if she's not going to eat those foods, which is fine. I mean, I know you say she eats well, but maybe she just has a tendency to be low on those things. Maybe she's not processing them for some reason.
Yeah.
So I really wouldn't worry about it. D and iron is super cheap. I mean, you said she's on injections, but once she's off of that, the iron pills and the D pills are super cheap. So I really wouldn't worry about it. Margaret, don't think of food not eaten as meals as leftovers. Think of them as food prepping. I know. I just call it cooking ahead. As a matter of fact, we have a whole ebook just on make ahead meals because really it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, I made a roast with golden mushroom soup and then put in small baggies and froze. There you go.
That'd be yummy.
Yeah. Loretta, how long is the cookbook sell? It is it May 7th, Mike? I think it's till May 7th. I think it's May 7th. Everybody's loving your sweater.
Thank you.
Helen,
Thank you.
What do you name the spice packages in the cookbooks? So I didn't name them. It's just like ranch and taco seasoning and fajita seasoning. So those just your typical seasonings.
So we have Italian seasoning in there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkin, all of those normal seasonings.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, if putting dry foods such as beans, rice, and pasta in glass pasta jars, do I need to vacuum seal them? No, you can, but you don't have to.
No.
There's no reason. Susan, do a dehydrating video. We've already done that. Just go search dehydrating or dehydrator on our YouTube channel. What about bread? Randy wants to know, isn't it cheaper to make different types and not pay $5 for Thomas English muffins? Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper if you're paying $5.
We've got an English muffin recipe in there. We've got a bagel recipe in there.
English muffin bread is what I put in there because it's easier than English muffins, but it tastes just like
the same
English
as
muffins.
English
It's
muffin.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, do you think a good quality Dutch oven pots, etc., is worth the price? No, I don't. Paula, I ordered both volume 1 and 2. The total was $66.99 with shipping. Excellent buy. I'd say yes, because you will save that on your first trip to the grocery store. You really will.
That's why I don't feel bad about selling these cookbooks, because I have a real bugaboo that in the business that I've had in the past and things, I don't like to sell anything that I don't think can help people. And we've had more people say that the cookbooks really help them save money and help them even get out of debt and stuff, because you really do get some good tips in there on how to save money.
Wanda, I live in Southern Arizona. I want some fried green tomatoes. How do I find green tomatoes in the store? You don't. You just have to wait for them to start. I mean, in Arizona, you should be getting green tomatoes anytime in the next couple of weeks, I would think. So just ask anybody who's grown tomatoes. They may not want to give them to you, though, because, those first tomatoes of the season are prime. But Margaret, every time I fix food and sit the plates on the table, I say that will be $15 a plate at a restaurant, but I didn't pay that to fix the food. Yeah. You need to figure out how much this is costing at a restaurant.
It'll make you feel better about cooking it then. That's a good idea.
Add it up for a month.
Yeah. Then it'll really blow your mind.
Vicky, I also use ham bone to make my ham broth and freeze. I use ham broth for the green beans. Yes. Now I'm going to be showing a lot of these things in the new way that we're doing the videos coming up in the next week or two. And we're going to start incorporating some of these things into our videos. So you'll be able to see them. We're not going to do individual videos on them. But as soon as my kitchen is done, I'm going to start incorporating some of these things so that you can see how it's actually done. Randy says, so happy I found this page. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Carissa, hi, I'm not frugal, spent $50 yesterday and do not know what I spent it on.
You come to the right place.
I need to know what you spend it on. Alicia, I went to Salvation Army and bought anniversary gifts for my parents, a glass anniversary clock. Beautiful. Yep.
Good
both
idea.
For $5.
Yeah.
Bounty in the Badlands. She stores rice and food grade 5-gallon buckets with a large plastic bag and everything else put in loose 2-gallon jars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No problem in 40 years. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy, we have a lot of leftovers since it's just 2 of us. We only cook 2 or 3 times a week. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids leave home, Mike and I are going to be eating the same thing
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Nancy, only 2 of us at my house. I get 3 little foil pans and cover with Dollar Tree for $1.25. Planned leftovers go in there. Marked and dinner's ready. Yep.
Very good.
Randy, I would love to watch a video from both of you guys in a Publix supermarket. So we don't have that here in Wyoming. So unfortunately, I can't do that. Maybe if I ever go to the South, I could do a video on that. But I have never been into a Publix, so it would be
I've heard
interesting.
a lot about them, but
Nancy, our strawberry pie in our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook, which by the way is not out of stock. They just arrived today. We got all 8 pallets of books in the middle of my kitchen nightmare. The books came early. They weren't supposed to be here till next week, so thankfully they got here. So the gluten-free, dairy-free, the green one right there is back in stock.
And they did just get here because I drove up to come.
Yeah, like
do
literally 45 minutes before the show started.
Yeah. Well, I had to sit and wait there for the truck to leave before I could drive in.
Yeah.
So they did just get here.
Denise, I bought hamburger patties that were on sale, buy one, get one free. Made them like $2.49 a pound. Very good.
You guys are getting some good deals. Yeah.
She said I was just going to use it as ground beef, and the lady said I never thought of that. I know. I do that all the time.
I know.
It's like if ground beef is $5 a pound, but you get patties for $2 a pound. Hello.
You can use them.
Chop it up.
That's what we keep saying. Think out of the box, you guys. And you need to start thinking of different ideas. And that's why kind of the cookbooks, they help people kind of start thinking of how to do things differently, like with all the different grilled cheese sandwiches, how to do, use different things in the grilled cheese sandwiches that you maybe need to use up and things like that. We have how to use up leftovers and how to use up all different kinds of things to help you think of stuff.
Alicia says we should make our own line of ranch dressing. Actually, I've had people tell me time and time again I should do the spice mixes. I'm not kidding. People beg me to do the spices, but the problem is we ship the books media mail and the spices would have to go regular mail. So it would be a pain on the shipping end on I don't know. I thought about it.
She has,
but we are going to put the co-ops seasonings probably on Etsy. And so if we do that, then I might promote them there. But anyway, Diane saves bacon grease. Yeah, I saved my. I've been throwing away my bacon grease because I have it frozen. All that. Let's see, what did I get? 100 pounds. I got 100 pounds of bacon. I just have bacon grease out the wazoo now. And I literally use bacon grease almost every single meal. Cook almost every single meal. Like I fry my eggs in it. I use it to grease my tins for my breads and my muffins and stuff. I use it to fry pretty much anything.
I love frying
deviled
potatoes
eggs,
in it,
potato salad.
And you can take and
deviled
even
eggs.
melt it if you're making up pancakes. It calls for oil. You can melt it and use it in that if you want to. If it calls for margarine or something like in a meatloaf or whatever, use bacon grease. If you're frying pork chops and you need oil to fry them in, use the bacon grease. I've even used bacon grease for the oil that you use to pop popcorn in a pan. Instead of oil, I've done bacon grease instead of the oil. And oh my, it does not taste like bacon. It just adds a flavor to it that's so yummy. So yeah, just start trying your bacon grease. Anytime you need oil for anything, start trying the bacon grease. Just experiment and try it and see what happens.
Yep. Wanda says, watch your store rewards programs. I was going to use a $7 off meat and went back into my cart to check to see if it went through, and it raised the price of the meat. They would be getting a word or two from Tara. That is just wrong.
You got to watch the receipts really careful.
Bonnie's, I think my favorite tip you ladies have given is don't meal plan.
Doesn't it take the stress off of you? I watch these gals on YouTube. They're so stressed about trying to figure out how to meal plan. We try to relieve a little stress on you guys' life.
I keep stock of things and check the sales ads to see what to buy. If meat is on sale, I buy the meat and freeze it.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Toti's Adventures, Tara and Jill. I just came home from the store. I got there at the perfect time. I got 3 pounds of 80/20 hamburger for $8.09. 3 pounds for $8.09 a package. Then repackaged in 1 pound bags, being $2.66 a pound. Very good.
Very good.
Send me the next mic. Kathy, love the ebooks. Print off the page, take to the store, share the meals, and tape the recipe on the dish. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, if you go to a potluck or something, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
You guys have a lot of good questions that we might go into more detail in some of our later videos.
Yeah, we'll expound on them.
Dee Dee says real butter is now almost $4 a pound. It's $7 to $8 a pound here in Wyoming. I about had a cow the other day when I saw it. And no pun intended. It would be cheaper to have a cow than to buy butter now. But I personally use real butter because I am on a dairy-free diet. And so buying the butter and making it into clarified butter, which has the milk proteins out that I can't eat, is cheaper than buying the margarine without the milk in it for me. But that's not always necessarily the case.
And one thing too, talking with portion size, it goes with butter too. If you can keep that butter soft, really soft, instead of having it a little bit firmer, you can spread it thinner. And the thing is, once you just get it spread thin, you still have the butter taste. You know, a lot of people just clump tons of butter on. And so, you know, that helps a little bit because I watch people use butter, and if they could half the amount of butter they use sometimes because they just use harder butter and they just spread it on toast or bread or anything.
What's the difference between volume 1, the red one, and volume 2, the blue one? So the volume, if you have to pick one, get volume 1. It's the place to start.
Yeah,
but
it's like an encyclopedia.
Volume 2 is just the additional recipes that we couldn't fit into volume 1. Volume 1 is almost 600 pages. Volume 2 is almost 500 pages. And so it's just the recipes that we couldn't get into volume 1. But volume 1 is your very basics: how to make gravy, how to make pancakes, how to make your seasonings, bath and beauty products, those types of things, kids products, all of those are in our volume 1. But it's all your basic recipes.
And we have pictures. We have pictures in there, but
we have pictures.
Well, I mean, a lot of cookbooks have pictures on every other page, and we do have pictures in here. But look, we've got a lot of pages that don't have pictures. And when she says 600 pages, that's a lot of cookbook.
We couldn't put a picture for every recipe because we literally did not have the space.
Yeah. And so look at fried green tomatoes. I just opened up the fried green tomatoes. But, you know, this is a big cookbook. It's really heavy. Even me holding it with 2 hands, it's heavy. So you really are getting almost like two cookbooks, at least 2, maybe even 3 of the real fancy coffee table ones. So we have pictures.
You know, just the way you said it sounded funny. Like, we don't have recipes.
We got lots of
pictures. 99. Sorry, Mother. I apologize. It just came out funny.
No. Oh.
99 says my local no-name grocery store has chicken thighs and drumsticks for 99 cents a pound. Yep.
That's good.
Wallace says I'm going to order the first book for my daughter tomorrow. Yay!
Oh.
How long will it take to get? So we ship. For sale days, we ship every single day. Normal days, we ship like every other day, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or normal weeks. But for sale weeks, we ship just because we have so many orders, we wouldn't be able to keep up. So we ship every day, and then it takes 4 to 7 days because it goes media mail to get to your home. If it's longer than 7 days, email me and let me know, and we'll see if we can. We send you a tracking number when your order goes out. So check the tracking number and see if it's still in transit. If it is, then just wait a few more days. But if it's not there by 2 weeks, then definitely let us know. But I mean, we had one person email us they ordered in 2020.
I was 2020, they're just now letting you know that it didn't show up.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to help you in that situation. But if your book is missing after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, please let me know.
Yeah, and Tara and Mike work really
get on it
hard
right
at
away.
customer service. Yeah, they really work with you.
Ms. T says another way to save money is to only eat 2 meals a day. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mama says, what do you use to drain dried foods, oils other than paper towels? So that is one thing
that's the only thing
I do use paper towels for. I use them to drain foods. Occasionally I will use them on my windows and draining foods. And that's the only 2 things I use paper towels for.
I drain one, and then I use one on the inside of my toilet to.
I don't do that.
I take a quarter of one and do the inside of my toilet.
Yeah, I don't do that. But
what do you use on the inside?
Toilet brush.
Oh yeah, because I don't like.
I don't
using-
even waste a paper towel on
I
toilets.
don't like toilet brushes. They smell. No, I'm being smart. I'm just
If
being
you bleach
smart.
them, everything's killed if you bleach them.
I know. It's just the idea.
Sandy says she drains on a rack. Yeah, you could drain on a rack. I just don't want to wash a rack, so you can do that. How many teaspoons or tablespoons of hamburger equal a pound? I have no idea. I don't know. It depends on the weight.
Well, I was going to
and
say
the-
for measurement for how much for a cup, there's like 16 tablespoons in a cup of cooked hamburger.
Yeah, but I don't know how much that would equate.
But I don't know
maybe
how
I'll do
as
that.
far as
I don't know.
weight goes.
I
I
don't
don't.
Shannon says we look fabulous tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Dane says just ordered volume 1 as a Mother's Day gift to her son.
Oh,
Lady Hawk, I made the blueberry cream cheese dessert in your book and it was a hit. Yes, that's volume 2.
Did you see what she got it for her son?
Oh, so he can cook for me for a change.
oh, that's
There
good.
you go.
That's funny. Yeah,
Sorry about
moms
that.
do that. Order one for your kids so they can cook for you on Mother's Day. That's cute.
Lady Hawk, Paula, 10 to 15 years ago, I was a stickler for name brands, but I've been slowly converting over to store brands.
Very good. You know, I'm so impressed with you guys that do this, that you're actually trying this stuff out. You know, a lot of people, if you give them an idea, say maybe you might want to try to do this, they're stuck. They're so stuck in their ways that they don't want to even try. So I'm very proud of you guys that step out of the box, you know, and do try this.
Me Too loves our videos on our super easy recipes channel. Thank you. Mike will
Oh.
put that link for you guys if you want to go watch those recipe videos. Dana, I found one of your first cookbooks with the spiral spine. I was looking through it and saw you signed it, Tara. I'm so glad I found your channel.
Oh, that's
That's pretty
funny.
cool. Karen loved the meatloaf in volume 1. Thank you. I never liked meatloaf. When we
Yeah.
would go over to my dad's house, he would make meatloaf and it was gross.
Yeah, see, I don't like
But-
normal meatloaf, but
I found a meatloaf recipe and I'm like, oh, you mean meatloaf can actually taste good? I just didn't know my dad couldn't cook. So anyway, Vicky, organic means expensive. Yes. Unless you're in an English bank account, don't buy organic. Yep. Nancy, barbecue meatballs, the best recipe in volume 1. Yes, it's grandma's
that's
recipe.
great. My mom's recipe. I just can't hardly, and you can make up the barbecue sauce that goes with that recipe, and I use it on
Everything.
for a regular barbecue sauce. It's a barbecue sauce that makes that recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make it, don't just use irregular.
She says
store-bought.
it's worth the price alone just for that recipe.
Oh, thank you. I'll have to tell her that next week when I see her.
Cleaning Geek says my mother is obsessed with name brands. When she visits, she's always shocked by how good my store brands are.
You know, my mom.
We need to do a taste test. We need
yeah.
to sit Mike and the boys down and have them taste test.
I've done
something, see if
ice
they
cream
can
before, and
tell.
the cheap store brand, I love the cheap store brand. And all these people were testing this ice cream. They had the expensive, what is it,
Yes.
Haagen-Dazs or whatever. And they all picked the cheap store brand. It was so funny.
I'll eat the Haagen-Dazs.
Oh, listen to you.
I will.
It's
That's
not
one
as
thing I don't like.
creamy. It's not as creamy, but they all did pick the cheaper store brand instead of the other. I bet you would.
We'll taste test Mike and see.
we should. We're going to eat Mike.
Taste test Mike and see
And
if
see.
he can tell from the stuff. Cleaning Geeks. My mother's obsessed with name brands when she visits. Oh, wait, sorry. Wanda, I just rewatched a video about 4 years ago where Dave made the meatballs. He's an inspiration. Yeah. Now all he eats is what? Cheese bratwursts. What does Dave eat? Hamburgers. Bacon. That's all Dave. And he was wondering why he's losing weight. I'm like, dude, you're not eating anything. Paula, hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle is great, cheap cleaner too. Yes, but it will bleach your clothes, so you got to be
Yeah,
careful.
be a little bit.
Donna, I'm excited. I just ordered volume 1 and 2. Thank you.
Oh.
Happy early Mother's Day to me. Yay.
Thank you.
Sherry, 2 ears of corn on the cob is what's for dinner. Oh, that sounds good. I haven't had corn on the cob forever. Vicky, I work with a girl that struggles to pay her bills, but she always gets her Starbucks every day. Shaking my head. I know. I'm telling you, not one person have we found that we were not able to cut more from their budget.
Yeah.
Not one person.
Yeah.
Kimmy! Hello, friend.
Hi, Kimmy. Poor Kimmy.
She's
She
all right,
keeps
friend.
coming back.
It's a
doesn't
good
she?
thing Kimmy didn't call today. Oh, Kimmy,
you would have
would've got
gotten
an
an earful.
Any advice on saving money on eating out? Just kidding, she says.
Very funny.
You would have really gotten an earful. No,
Oh.
Kimmy is working on her new cookbook, aren't we, Kimmy? Right, Kimmy? Seeking Joy says your voice is definitely in my head now when you're saying stop spending money. Yeah, just stop it. Have you guys seen the new Heart psychiatrist short where the lady comes in, she's like, I just don't know. He's like, just stop it. Just stop it. She's like, well, no, just stop it. It's like, yes, just stop it. I know that doesn't sound easy, but you know what? Life isn't easy. So just stop it anyway. Sharon says, my grandfather lived to over 100, ate whatever he wanted. Yes.
I heard a thing that this guy, that reminded me, he lived, they said he's still alive now. He's 109. He was a firefighter. And he volunteers still at the fire station. He drives, which is kind of scary to think about that. But he buys his own groceries. He takes care. He does everything on his own. He lives on his own and everything. He's on no medication. And they asked him, how come, what's your secret? And you'll never guess, Ovaltine. Ovaltine, for you that don't know, in other countries, it's like a chocolate milk, powder chocolate milk stuff that you make.
Vitamins and minerals.
And it's got a lot of vitamins and minerals. But the gal on the radio station, she looked it up and she said, oh my goodness, there's so much sugar in this thing. And I thought, yes, that's why Grandma and Grandpa and I are so healthy, is the sugar.
Just drinks one Ovaltine a day.
The sugar helps with the stress, and it's got lots of vitamins. See, he's taken tons of sugar in and he's living to 109. So I get to up my sugar intake.
He just doesn't eat a whole bunch of sugar. That's just his whole sugar for the day.
You don't know that.
At 103, if he's not overweight, he's not eating a lot of sugar.
22 grams of sugar in a cup of Ovaltine. Is that a lot?
He's probably not eating a whole cake, is what I'm saying. The rest of the day. That's what's keeping him. Patricia, Tara, I have no problem having you and your mom's voice in my head. It keeps me on the right track.
You guys
I even think, what would Tara do? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Look at all the people you've warped now over the years.
Oh, we've warped the contractors for sure. I don't think they're ever going to be able to. I don't know if they'll ever be able to work again after another kitchen
they're going
renovation.
To quit contracting, huh?
They've been very patient. Diane, I do same with the hamburger meat, cooking up a lot and freeze it for spaghetti, soups, enchiladas, and adding it to salads.
Yeah, it's perfect for all those things. Make up quick tacos, if you need them. There's the hamburgers right there.
Rhonda, where do I get the ebook on Make Ahead Meals? Mike will put the link in there, but livingonadime.com, go to our shop and you can find it under our ebooks. I think it's there's a collection of 3 that have 3 meal plans in them, and that's one of them. 3 ebooks. Priscilla, can you say the next batch? It's the menus on a dime set, he said. Can you send me the next batch, Mike? Priscilla said, what is it you said to do with tap water to avoid buying bottled water?
All what you need to do is I just fill up a water jug and put it in the refrigerator. Usually I let it set overnight, and it tastes just exactly like bottled water. That's why bottled water tastes so good to everybody, is because it's been sitting on the shelf before you drink it, at the grocery store and when they manufacture it and everything. So that's why people think it tastes so different and so better than tap water. It's just been sitting on the shelf. If you do the same thing and set it on your counter, but I like it cold, so I just put it in the refrigerator and let it sit in there and it gets icy cold. So that's all you have to do, is just let it sit.
Oh no, Kimmy said she was going to call the day. It's a good thing you didn't, because if I wasn't numb, I would have been in tears. I'm like, I can't take this.
It was
one more
pretty
day.
Unbelievable what was going on.
One more day. I can't take this. I'm like,
I shouldn't laugh. I'm her mother. I should feel sorry for her.
Just let me die now. I really don't give a flip what happens now. Just let me die and be done with it.
When I say I drove up and I saw the truck there, I couldn't get past the truck to get to her house. I thought, oh no, they're unloading the books as we're getting ready to go. It was supposed to be going on to do the live stream. It was like, is this
that
not
was the easy part? That was the easy part.
Not the ending of a perfect day.
And then when I cracked the mason jar with the bacon grease I'd been saving, sorry, Tana, I'll start again. I was just like, oh my goodness. Anyway.
At what point do you give up, huh?
Andrea says, I cook once and eat all week. If I start to get sick of something, I reportion it. Yeah, just save
Yeah.
it later. I do the same thing.
Mhm, I do too.
Kara says, the English muffin bread in volume 1 is amazing. Yes, that is one of the things that I really miss being gluten-free is I haven't found a gluten-free comparable companion to that, but that is super stinking good.
Yeah.
Hair Chick says, I'm a hairdresser, been saving $2 coin tips in a jar since January, used for Christmas. There's a $2 coin? Is there a $2 coin? Maybe she means $1. There's no $2 coin, is there?
Maybe she's from another country.
Maybe
have
Canada.
dollars?
In Canada, they would have dollars, maybe. They call them dollars in Canada, right? Maybe she's Canadian. Okay. I cut up. Oh, and Australia has dollars too. Okay. Well, she must be not here. Okay. I cut up old towels as rags, bleach them after use, and they are fresh and clean. Yes.
Very good. And I like you saying that you save those tips for different things. When you're starting to try to save money, think how much you save this week and put that money in a jar for something special and things like that.
Debbie says, I love you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need all the love we can get right now. I need a reason to live. Just saying. SW says, just ordered volume 2. Now have all 3 cookbooks.
Oh,
Yay.
thank you.
Miss T says, yes, the cookbooks more than pay for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know that.
Patty, I use the Flash Food app and get groceries for half off or more things close by Best Buy Day to bring them home, push into single servings and freeze. She lives alone and it saves so much.
Yep, that makes a big.
Seeking Joy says, your voice is definitely in my head. You are saying stop spending money. You need to tell me that. You should. Oh my goodness. You should have seen our thrift store haul yesterday.
Oh, wait till you guys see it.
A baby high chair.
I could not believe this was her.
I had a
As a matter of fact,
yesterday.
3 of us almost couldn't carry it out the store. We had so much
3 of
stuff.
us, Mom and I and Sumner, our cameraman / editor, all had our hands so full. That he had the camera tucked in his backpack
and he had his arms. He was waddling.
The car was full. Yeah.
But we needed
actually,
it all. They were just getting ready to
the floating
justify
shelves
ourselves.
the floating shelves themselves were probably $40 worth of stuff for $1.
Yeah, it was.
And I already know where I'm using them. It's now the baby high chair.
That was a fun one. An antique one.
It.
An antique one. Oh, it's cute.
Anyway, I need to have
She
my
paid
own voice going through my head.
Paid almost nothing for the thing too.
Yeah, it was what, $3? I think?
We didn't spend a lot for what we, how much stuff we got.
Christine's looking forward to seeing the new videos. Thank you.
Oh.
Homeroom Tribe, do you do a lot of slow cookers? So I don't actually, but we have a cookbook, an e-cookbook, a digital cookbook that is only slow cooker recipes. So if you want that, then go ahead. As I'm sitting here, dear, thinking about all these ebooks, maybe we should just slap those into a print book and put them in print. All of them. We've got so many of them.
We've got, check out our ebooks, guys. I mean, if you like Dining on the Dime or any of the hardbacks, you will love the ebooks because it's just extra stuff that we just didn't have room for and even more ideas. So
Cheryl, will you make the yogurt, please? Okay. For one of the new videos, when I get the kitchen done, if I ever get the kitchen done, I will make that yogurt for you. Amy, I watch you both almost daily while I clean.
Oh, thank you.
Wanda, I like mixing hamburger and Italian and hot sausage. Oh, that would be good. Yeah. Mrs. T, another way to save dollars, shop your closet. I went for 2 years not buying makeup, soap, shampoo, toothpaste, etc. because I had so much stuff in my house. Wow.
Very good.
Since I'm never able to buy makeup again, I probably will too. I'm going to look like an old hag, but that's okay.
I was going to say on the sausage tip is I love it when I make chili. I use hamburger, but I also use half sausage, and it really changes the whole taste of chili. It's really good.
Lori, your spice recipes are really good. Yes, they are. Not to tote my own horn, but they are really toot my own horn. Tote my own horn. Well, I can tote my own horn too, I guess, but not to toot my own horn. Yes, they are very delicious. Vicky, my grocery store is remodeling the store, so they're downsizing some of their brands. A lot of stuff is 50% off. There you go.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Rachel, do you know how long butter stays good left out on the counter? Oh my goodness. I'll keep mine.
I've had 2 weeks. Yeah, at least 2 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Marcella, is the Spiral Cookbook the same as Volume 1? Yes, it is. Deborah R. Aldi here in Knoxville, Tennessee has butter for $2.49. Good deal.
that's
Maybe
good.
I need to go to Tennessee and get some butter. Amy, my husband and I paid off $20,000 of debt in the 2 years. Your tips have helped us change our lives.
Very
Aw,
good.
Thanks. You
That
give
is
me a reason to
good.
live again. Cooking with cat litter. My small town store has 80%
Not
ground
cat
beef.
litter. Is it
Or cat lover.
cooking with cat litter?
Sorry.
Cooking with cat litter?
I really shouldn't have done the show today.
Cat
with
lover,
cat
we're
lover.
sorry.
Sorry. Cat.
Well, you love us anyway.
Maybe I should cook with cat litter. Now that would be a show.
That would get
There you
draw.
go.
That
Drain
would
your-
really draw attention.
Drying your
You get a lot
fried
of
food on cat litter. There you go. Cooking with
Oh.
cat lover. My small town store is 80% ground beef for $1.49. There you go.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, Mrs. T, if you like meat in your spaghetti sauce, try. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Tried sausage instead of
Yeah,
hamburger. Yeah.
that would be good.
Diane uses bacon grease in her biscuits. Yep. It's just lard is what it is.
Hmm.
Christine, if you haven't Christine, if y'all haven't gone to the website, livingonadime.com, do it now. You won't regret it. Yeah, guys, we have like 1,500 pages of recipes and tips on how to save money.
Tons of
Livingonadime.com. Cindy, my husband and I love to figure out how much each of our meals costs like a game. Yep.
Very good.
Lee says, I wish.
Well, can I say something on hers? I know
Mhm.
you're trying to go, but she's doing really good on that because she's keeping track and paying attention to the money she's spending. And that's what we try to get you guys to do. Actually start watching what you're doing with your money and how much you're spending for different things.
Lee says, I wish you guys could ship to Australia. I would love your books and love your videos. I did a lot of what you suggest when my boys were young and had very little money. Yep.
I would love to go
Yep.
I would love to bring books to Australia to you. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
Francis, I bought a gallon of fat-free milk for $2.97. The price went down from $3.39. I used to buy organic milk. Now it's now $7.49.
Wow, that's a lot.
Sumner.
Oh,
Sumner's
Sumner.
watching us.
Hey, Sumner. Yeah, we're talking about you,
His
Sumner.
ears are Sumner, would you like to tell them your thrift shopping, your thrift store experience with us this week?
The poor guy.
Poor Sumner. He's a good
Can you
sport.
imagine having to follow us around in a thrift store all the time?
I got milk for 97 cents for a half gallon this week. So it's $2 a gallon, less than $2 a gallon. She says she stopped buying organic milk months ago. Good for you.
And one thing I found out, this is kind of a tip. I used to get the gallon milk. I freeze my milk. So I would pour half of it and put in the freezer and everything. But I found out the gallon milk, it doesn't last as long as in the cardboard type half gallon.
The plastic lasts longer or the cardboard?
The cardboard lasts longer.
Wow.
I've got some cardboard in my refrigerator that's 3 weeks past the expiration date.
Wow.
And it's still perfectly fresh.
Well, Jack's the only one who drinks milk in our family, so that's good to know.
Yeah. And so it lasts. So you might experiment, if you do have the smaller half gallons, it might last longer than the big plastic gallons. So you might check some of these things out sometimes.
Carissa, I have an old cookbook she got for free. Well,
Oh,
there you
wow.
go. Kathy, she would prefer spiral. I know, but it just got to the point where we couldn't do a spiral anymore. But these do lay flat.
Yeah, they really
we have
do.
a special binding made for these. They special bind these so they lay flat. This is a brand new book. I have never used this book. It's a brand new book and it lays flat. It totally lays flat. So,
well, this is mine, but I've not ever used it. So it's still.
you haven't used
I never used
our own cookbook?
Oh, we got roasted sunflower seeds, roasted pumpkin seeds, baked tortillas, chips and stuff. Did that get you off of
Nancy, no one mentions that all 3 cookbooks lay flat. Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No matter what page you open it to, first bound, I've had that does, and it much better to use.
We
Yep.
really worked hard, Tara and I. We sat one day practicing with the book, didn't we?
Yeah.
And testing it out.
Teresa says, yes, great customer service. My damaged books got replaced. Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
thank you.
The only time I won't do good customer service is when you do a chargeback before the books even got shipped. A lady did a chargeback before the books even got shipped and told the credit card company that we didn't send her books. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I won that dispute. Thank you very much. I was ticked.
We do have people once in a while. Most of
Try
our
to
people are
scam
good,
us.
but every once in a while we have scammers.
Francis, I cut up a stick of butter into my tiny cubes and use a couple of cubes. Yep, there you go.
Very good.
Marilyn, how do I pay if I'm in Canada? I'm sorry, you have to buy the ebooks. We cannot ship outside the United States anymore. I am so sorry.
It's
It
not
is your
us, it's the
government's
government,
rules and customs that caused the problems to where we were losing hundreds and thousands of dollars shipping overseas. And I just could not do it anymore. I'm so sorry, but
They don't like books from other countries coming into there.
Andrea and Stub using oil in a recipe is the same amount of applesauce. Yep, it works really good. Lee says, I have a block of butter in a butter dish on the bench, so it's always soft. Yep, we do too. Yep.
The problem is in the winter, I keep mine out all the time. My house is so cold that it stays as hard as in the refrigerator. So
Christine says, if you go to the website, there's a free ebook, 22 meals under 20 minutes. I'm excited to check out what's in that one. Yes, that is a sample of what's in our cookbooks for people who would like to have it. Rachel, the Aldi here in New Jersey is putting butter on sale for $2.50. There you go. Julie, I love the cookbook humor too. For example, trail mix. Oh, you mean M&Ms with obstacles? Yes. Isn't that true?
Trail mix. I know. We did put a lot of jokes and funny sayings in the cookbook, is what she's talking about too.
Need all the humor.
We put humor in there.
With life.
We've had people that just say they stay up half the night reading our cookbook when they get it because it's kind of funny too.
Angela says, do you still do shows where you cook some of the recipes? I love those shows. So we have not, but we're going to start adding them into our pre-taped shows. I'm going to start doing some more cooking in there if I can ever get my kitchen done, which looks like it's going to be middle of June now before my kitchen is probably done. But I'm going to start, even if the kitchen isn't done until June, I might be able to use half of it. So, and Mike's brilliant idea. So I tried working on Mike's brilliant idea today to get it for filming part of it. And I just couldn't because of the rest of the meltdown. So hopefully in about 2 weeks, we'll show Mike's brilliant idea and then maybe show you part of the kitchen. And then when the new window comes in June, then maybe we can get the rest of it done. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. So, but I might be able to cook on the bar. So Angela, do you still have, Illuminate says, do you ever make porcupine balls? We do not, but that would be good. By the way, some of you asked, did we see the Aurora Borealis? Yes.
I wish I'd seen it. I just
show Mike, do you have your phone in the picture or your phone? Mike will show you a picture. We went out, we weren't going to go see it because we went out to see it a week before or 2 weeks before or something. It came out and it was okay, but it really wasn't that great. It was just like little poofs of clouds kind of.
I'd known.
But we weren't going to go out. It was like 10 o'clock at night. We were like, oh my goodness, we are so tired. Is this really worth it? But we went ahead and went out.
I saw it on Facebook today. That's why I was just sick. I've always wanted to see it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see. Now, it didn't quite look like this. The picture brings out the green and the purple more than you actually saw in person. But you could see it flicking and the rays shooting up and it moving around. It was really pretty cool, actually. And that's on my to-do list. On my bucket list is to see that sometime. I would like to go to Alaska and actually see it sometime. So now that I've seen it, I'm thinking I might have to see if we can find some place to go see that in Alaska. Amy says we're entertaining. And Jane,
is that good or bad? I wonder.
Jane says, thank you so much. So informative, good common sense. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kimberly says she loves our book, Basic Recipes, because my husband is a meat and potatoes type of man. Yep.
Yeah, most of the recipes are just good basic.
Just eat the basic stuff. Yep. Wanda, advice on eating out is to have someone else pay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Amy, we need to get it together, Tara. Get it together, people. We need a Tara button. Get it together, people. Yes, we do. And Deborah says we're a hoot. And Wanda says he heard that Bob Newhart's wife of 60 years passed away. Oh, that's too bad.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Although Bob Newhart's like 90 years old.
yeah,
so
he is getting up
he's
there.
not a
Mhm.
real young. Tara, Ovaltine is Horlicks in the United States or in the United Kingdom.
Oh, is that what it's called there? Okay.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, Mike, is there any left? Deborah says they got to see the Aurora Borealis in Canada. I bet you did. That
Oh,
was probably
yeah,
pretty
you
cool.
probably did in Canada.
I almost thought about driving to Montana a little bit further if it wasn't so far, but yeah. Paula, so are we all going to want to build our own version of Mike's Brilliant Idea? Yeah, you are. Although today I was getting started and I was just like, wait till you guys see what my house looks like. I was just like,
it's pretty bad, guys. It's
I
pretty
don't
bad.
even know
I don't even know where you're
where
going
to
start.
begin for Mike's Brilliant Idea. I even tried to begin for Mike's Brilliant Idea, and then the refrigerator came. And so I'll tell you guys, since you waited this long, what happened. So first of all, I wasn't even sure where to start with Mike's Brilliant Idea. I was just literally having a meltdown thinking, I don't even know where to start. I really don't. And I filmed it because it was so bad. And I was just like, I don't even know what to do here. So I get started on Mike's Brilliant Idea, and then the refrigerator is supposed to come today. Okay, well, so first of all, we have to clear out all the construction stuff to get the refrigerator in the house. So we have stuff on the front porch. We have stuff on the back porch. We have stuff in the living room, trying to make a path to get to
piles of wood, tools,
the
saws.
sink base, the table, the dishwasher base, which
that's all piled every place. The old cabinets are in another section. It's just
which the poor contractor cut the wrong size the other day. So now we have to make a new dishwasher cabinet. So we started off, I called the week, I called Gillette, Billings, Casper, Olive Sheridan, Gillette, yeah, all within, I didn't get so far as Denver, but Mom and I are leaving for Colorado, so I thought about calling Denver even to see if I could find a new window. Could not find a new window. So we went to a different shop here in Sheridan, and they were able to find one for us. So it's going to be June before it comes in. Okay. So we just decided to go ahead and just not get the kitchen done and wait for that. But he said he could do everything around it because the sink and all that has to go in under the window. So that's how my week started Monday morning. Was we spent literally, I don't know, 7 hours trying to find a window and calling and figure out what to do with that. Well, so then today I started working on Mike's Brilliant Idea, and the refrigerator came, and the guy said, your refrigerator came and it was packed in the factory packaging, and they put a piece of styrofoam over a huge scratch dent to cover it up. I was like, okay, so my first phone call to Home Depot, I'm not kidding. I made probably 10, 12, 15. I don't know. I lost count calls to Home Depot today and Whirlpool. So Whirlpool covered it up. So my first call to Home Depot was, okay, what are you guys going to do? Oh, we'll give you $50 off. Yeah, I don't think so.
Brand new refrigerator with
You're not giving me
and
$50 off. I don't know what you're smoking over there, but it ain't. It's happy weed from Colorado because I ain't doing it. So I finally, and you guys will hear this all in the video coming up, but so finally I got them to give me $500 off. So don't let them give you none of that baloney. So then I got them to give me $500 off. Well, then they get it in, and the guy spent 3.5 hours trying to put in the ice maker. 3.5 hours. They messed up and made the refrigerator wrong. And there was no way to install the ice maker on the back of the refrigerator. I spent, like I said, 10 to 15 calls to Home Depot. I called Whirlpool, was on hold for 45 minutes before the lady tells me, oh, we're just parts. We don't help with repairs.
I didn't know that part.
I about reached through the phone and choked that person. I was livid. The problem is you can't get any repairs or anything with any appliances now. Nothing. They just basically refuse.
They just give it to you, and then that's it.
To fix anything.
They don't want.
But I didn't want to accept a refrigerator that wasn't put together and working correctly, because then I've accepted a defective product.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not working right, then I don't get the warranty coverage. And so they were like, well, just cut a hole in the back of the fridge panel to put the pipe through for the water line for the ice maker. I'm like, okay, but then is that going to void my warranty? Because I, made, what do you call it? Not adjustments, but I made my own repairs to the refrigerator. So then does that void the warranty? And no one
could answer.
We're like, yeah. And then they were like, well, you can just send it back and get another one. I said, it'll be the same thing. If they sent this one to me, this is how they're making them now. They're not making them correctly. So I'm just going to get the same headache back in 6 weeks. I'm not kidding. I literally was on the verge of having a stroke. I was so mad at these people. Kevin, the guy was great. The Home Depot people here in Sheridan were really nice about it. But Home Depot's policies are just awful. It literally is the only place we can buy appliances in our town, or I wouldn't be buying appliances here. Mm-hmm. It's literally the only place we can buy appliances. We have nowhere else to buy appliances. But I was this close to just sending it back and waiting for somebody to have a used one on Upcycle, because it would have been less hassle. And so finally, we called Pistol, and our repair guy, if you guys seen the video. So we called Pistol, and he said that it shouldn't void the warranty for us just cutting the hole out of the back panel to get the water thing through. And we can just call him to repair it anyway, and he'll know what's going on. But I was just it was just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So we got it plugged in, we got it started, and then we'll see if I have ice tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, in the middle of this, and they called on the books.
Yeah. So then the contractor was supposed to be arriving anytime now. The refrigerator was right in the middle where the contractor was supposed to be working. So we're trying to hurry, get this done. So when the contractor comes, well, he ended up not showing up today, which ended up being a huge blessing, because I wouldn't have wanted him standing there for 3 hours doing nothing, waiting for this dumb refrigerator to get fixed. So then in the middle of this, we get a call. Oh, your books that were supposed to arrive by semi on May 2nd are now arriving today.
But you got to realize the place she was going to store it has the contractor's tools and all the old cabinets, and totally packed. So in other words, they've got to clean out a couple of garages, or at least one garage.
We got to find space for 8 pallets of books.
8 pallets of books
in
just a few hours.
Because we thought Saturday the contractors might have some of their stuff out, and then we would have room for the books, which are 40% off right now if you would like to buy one.
Fresh off the pallet.
And it'll be fresh off the pallet. We were just, so today it was just, it was like,
interesting because she kept calling. So
then when I cracked the mason jar, the warm mason jar with bacon grease, I was just
it was like the last straw. The straw broke
I just back. Don't know what to do. And I did get $500 off on the refrigerator, but the amount of headache that I've gone through, I'm not exaggerating. We have probably spent now at this point 40 to 60 hours between Mike and I
trying to get the refrigerator.
Trying to just buy a refrigerator.
Yeah, they have spent a lot of time.
I feel like taking Home Depot to court for all the time I've lost dinking with refrigerators and Whirlpool. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But we really don't have any place, because they had a Sears store, which we didn't want Sears appliances anyway, but it's closed down. So we just have no place to.
And then I found out I can't buy my Maybelline foundation anymore. And that just put me over the edge.
That just ruined your whole day totally.
I have worn that foundation for 30 years. 30 years, Maybelline.
How was your day going today?
And now I can't buy it anymore. And that's my lipstick too.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I used to use Maybelline lipstick too. I don't anymore, but I used to. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
because they insist on having a full for a ad person. Okay, I have vented now. I do not feel better, but I have
Yeah, we
vented
don't
now.
recommend buying Maybelline anymore for
Oh,
it's one of those boycott things that people are having
I'm
to
just
do.
like, I'm sorry, Maybelline, you just lost my business. I am so ticked. Wanda says, get a good cup of tea. I'm not kidding. I probably had 15 cups of tea today trying to calm my nerves. That's probably why my nerves are shot.
You've had too much tea today, huh?
Oh, here's
goodness.
the thing. We were looking so forward to it because yesterday the contractor said, okay, we're coming in and we're getting the crown molding done and the dry and all the little things done tomorrow. And then Saturday we'll put up the drywall and then we should be done until the window comes. And I was so excited. I was like, yes. And so then this morning I woke up and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I was looking at my house thinking, this is almost worse than moving because stuff isn't packed in boxes labeled. It's just thrown everywhere.
I know.
And I understand. Believe me, my dad's side of the family are hoarders. I understand how hoarders get overwhelmed. I get that. But you just are sitting there and you're like, do I even try to start? Because then when they go to do the drywall, the last part of the drywall, I'm just going to have drywall stuff everywhere and I'm going to have to take everything out and clean it again.
Mm-hmm.
So do I do that or do I not? Sherry says, call corporate Home Depot. Oh, Home Depot is getting a number in my kitchen remodel reveal video. They are going to have a thing or two said about them. If they weren't the basic, well, they're not the only hardware store in town. But let me tell you, we have been shopping at the other two hardware stores now for stuff instead of Home Depot, just for this very reason. It has been awful, absolutely awful. The people at our local Home Depot have been very, very nice. They've been very helpful and they have tried to be accommodating.
They're nice.
They have really tried.
It's just the company.
It's the company that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Whirlpool is just making junk for appliances now.
Yeah, I've had a couple and I wasn't happy with them.
But that's the best that you can get now.
Well, I got a dishwasher from them and it didn't, they couldn't get it fit in the hole. I mean, it didn't work. It just, when they got it put in the hole, it wouldn't work. I had them come out. They changed it then for another one and it still didn't work. And so I had 3 different new dishwashers put in, and they finally said, well, we won't bring another one out. Well, it wasn't my fault, that they wouldn't work and fix it. So I had a brand new dishwasher sitting in the hole and everything, but I could never use it because, I didn't have the money to go ahead and pay somebody to come fix it and everything. So,
yeah. Oh, did you guys not hear what happened with Maybelline? So that man that is prancing around like a 6-year-old girl on TikTok or Instagram or whatever he's on, I'm not going to even say his name because I'm not going to give him the benefit. That man prancing around like a 6-year-old girl is now the one that was on Budweiser's cans is now the Maybelline spokeswoman. The man is nothing but a fool, an absolute fool, promoting your women's products.
Yeah. Well, they even had to do some special foundation to cover up his 5 o'clock shadow while he was doing it.
You're just like, what? That's why
It's
you
just
know
going crazy.
Jesus is coming back soon. That's how you know Jesus is coming back soon. That they think that this is okay to do this. And like now the UN is trying to pass a thing that basically having sex with a kid under 18 is not a problem now at all. And you're not going to even get convicted if they consent. Well, what 6-year-old kid is going to stand up against a bully like that? I mean, you just know that the world has totally gone off the deep end. And so I know it's just, anyway, so that idiot is is a spokesperson. But you know what? Not even him. He's just a fool. He's just a fool. These companies.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the companies that are falling for this or hiring these people to do this and stuff that they, it really is getting, it's almost, I'm not afraid, but it's kind of creepy, scary the way everybody's.
Companies are falling for this stuff.
The way they're going. You just think, how can people even think to
And
even make sense? I mean, it doesn't even make logical sense for a man to sell women's makeup. It's just the whole realm of everything is getting weird.
I'm sorry. If you choose to have a mentally ill person promoting your product, that's your business, but I'm not going to buy it anymore. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's insulting to women. These men prancing around pretending like this. This is absolutely no different than they were doing in the 1920s or 30s blackface type thing. It is the same exact thing. And it's wrong, but we got to just put up with it. No, we don't. And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Kimmy says everything's upside down. I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know Jesus is coming back soon, because the Bible told us this was going to happen, and I know that. But you're just sitting here looking at this like,
is this
am
really
I in Twilight Zone? What planet did I get beamed up to last night, and I didn't know?
Well, you know what I find interesting is how fast and quickly and worse it's getting. It's like this big snowball that's going faster and getting bigger and worse. It's really kind of. That's what I can't get over. Things get bad gradually sometimes, from one generation to the next, but this is just like something's out of control. So
I'm going to be coming out with my own makeup line. And we're going to call it Tara's Very Far Right Makeup Line. Hello, Tammy. You caught me in the middle.
Hi, Tammy.
Rachel, I stopped shopping at Target years ago. I have not shopped at Target. It's been 10 years or so? I don't know. 8
years for me. It's been years.
Since they let men go into the women's bathroom, I stopped that day. I have not been into a Target since.
Yeah.
And I think it's wrong for people to be shopping at places like that. Now, I also understand. It's to the point now where you almost can't buy anything.
Yeah, so there's a we understand sometimes you have to do this stuff, but what you can, we try to do boycott what you can, is what we're saying.
So I don't know. So now I got to go through the hassle of trying to find a new foundation, and I really don't want to have to go through that. But yeah, Gina Lee says you need to read Jonathan Cohn's Return of the Gods. It explains today's craziness. Yeah, I mean, I know what the craziness is.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable.
I like his. I've listened to a lot of his stuff, but we understand why all of it's happening. As a matter of fact, it's exciting in a way because it shows that the rapture is getting closer, and the end times and everything. But it's just unbelievable to deal with. I guess you don't really expect, you knew things would be bad, but it's taken such a weird twist. You know what I mean? It's just
so perverted. And the Bible tells us it's going to be perverted, and we know that. But when you actually see it happening in real time, it's just flabbergasting.
Yeah. Strange.
I don't know. But anyway, 40% off our cookbooks, guys. Buy a cookbook by real women, not prancing around. We actually have boobs. Buy a cookbook from women who actually have boobs.
Men do cook, though. So
I know, but we're not saying we're a women-owned company and prancing around with no boobs. Well, Mike doesn't have boobs. And thank you,
we're
dear.
Get in so much trouble here.
And I appreciate you not having boobs, dear.
Oh, goodness.
And thank you for keeping your flingy thingy too.
Oh, no, we're really getting too deep. We got to stop before we lose most of it's a family show.
Oh, my word. So anyway, we are real women selling a real cookbook for 40% off our Mother's Day sale that only happens 2 times a year. Oh my goodness. Yes. So anyway, Just Vicky says her favorite quote is from Jan Markell, who says, "What did you expect the end times to look like?" I know, I expected it.
I know.
But you're just
when you're in the
sitting
middle
there
of
like,
it, you're just like, wow. It's kind of like having teenagers. You know, you hear about teenagers and what they're going to be like all the time. And your sweet little darlings are running around. You think, oh, you know, mine are going to turn out different. And then they hit their teenagers years and you just weren't totally prepared. You'd heard and you read about it and everybody said to expect it. But when it actually happens, it's like, whoa.
Jenner G says this is the best episode. I give up.
Mike and I kept thinking, should we let her on tonight or should we keep her in the house? We didn't know if we should let her on. And she did really good for the first, hour or so.
Beauty of Autumn says Clinique is a bit more, but a good foundation. Okay, do they actually have women spokespeople? Do their women have boobs? That's what I want to know. Eva says that guy is kind of scary looking. I know.
Yes,
it is.
It's creepy.
It's scary because you can see the evil demonic possession of this person.
I was just going to say a lot of these things.
And
I
it's
think
sad.
that's what's. Yeah,
It's
you
sad.
feel really sad for them because you
bad for
know that they just are being used in a way which you don't want to see that for anybody. And a lot of this stuff, if you just listen to the words they're saying and the blankness on their face or the weirdness on their face, they have a different look. You can tell.
Yeah, and Vicky says I didn't realize the end times would have a bunch of circus freaks dancing around in women's clothes. No. Well, I mean, you kind of knew it, but when you see it in person, you're just like,
how can you go to this? It's just.
Wanda wants to know, Mike, did your face turn red?
He's still hiding behind the curtain. We can't tell.
He's also the rep for Ulta. Oh, I'll tell you, I went into Ulta like 5 or 6 years ago and they had a man dressed as a woman doing makeup and I turned around and walked out there. I'm like, I'm not having no man who is dressed up like a woman doing my makeup for me. No way. This
may be hearsay, but I heard today too that they're hiring some guy to do model women's lingerie because a woman model, she quit because she said, I'm not going to be a part of this, to have a man modeling women's lingerie for her. Do I even want to know the comments? I can't read the comments, so I can just imagine what Tara's.
Sorry. I just am like.
Is anybody agreeing with us? Or are they?
No, everyone's agreeing with us. And I mean, and that's the problem though. People aren't standing up. And that's why my dollars are not going to Maybelline anymore. My dollars have not gone to Target for the 8 or so years or 10 years or however many years it's been, because I refuse.
And like we say, you can't boycott everything, but if there is something that you can, then,
Although you have to wonder if it's like the days of Lot and days of Noah.
I'm not sure what it's going to do to help.
Then you think, how much worse is it going to get?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, really, how, and you sit there and you're like, I don't know.
Because
how much
the
worse?
whole city was mobbing Lot's house to try to get in there,
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, Paula says, I'm new to your site. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Paula. Oh, no.
Oh, she says, is it this funny? I don't know. But this is not normal for us. Well, it is normal for us, but it's not normal for us to go on like that. But you just sit. Well, yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. It is. But
everybody on there is going to disagree with you on that one.
So, Mike, if you're shopping for lingerie for me, you're going to buy lingerie from a man who has no boobs wearing it?
He's no.
You. Sorry, but you.
Oh dear.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying this for me, so I don't want to see what it looks like on a guy. And yeah.
Oh my goodness. Don't need that vision in my head.
You don't need that vision in your head.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I need a good laugh today. Oh my goodness. Okay. She's in her apron. Kimmy says the tornado behind Mike is perfect for. Yes, that's why we had the tornado. Because this is how our whole day has gone.
Just totally started out downhill and it's keeping going. You're having to dig a ditch now. It's
Yes,
going
dear.
so
What were
deep.
you going to say?
No, that was it. I was just showing the
Oh, yes, the tornado.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Did I embarrass you, dear?
He's all red over there. No, you
Coffee
didn't.
Cup says.
You didn't
I guess-
embarrass me. I'm just laughing.
Look at his cheeks, how red they are.
Cup says, I guess now I have to throw out my Maybelline. I'm not throwing it out. Well, unless I do a video of me throwing it out. I'm not throwing it out because I'm not wasting my hard-earned money because they're fools. But
you're
I'm not
not
going to
gonna
go
buy
buy anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know where I'm going to find. I loved their foundations. For 30 years, I have worn their foundation. And I will never use it again. And actually could go back to Mary Kay. They haven't added men yet, Teresa says. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, so if you guys can imagine, when I found out I couldn't buy my makeup anymore.
That was the last straw. That was just too much.
After my day, I was like, what am I gonna do without my
She can handle the refrigerator fiasco and all that, but not her Maybelline.
I'll live without a refrigerator. Oh, my cousin is on here and she's gonna say, oh my goodness, I'm related to these people. She used to babysit me.
Tammy used to babysit you.
No, I mean I used to babysit
babysit
Tammy.
her,
Tammy's saying, Tara, you should start making your own. No, I won't buy CoverGirl either. Because
No,
they had Ellen on there,
yeah,
and I'm sorry.
I
Nope.
stopped buying them years ago.
I stopped it when they had Ellen
Yeah.
as a representative of a normal woman. Nope, not going to do. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I am not going to put up with that. It is sin. It is wrong. And I'm sorry if you unsubscribe or whatever, that is fine. But the reason why God put these guidelines and laws in the Bible is to protect families. And look what is happening to children because of all this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Look what is happening to those poor kids because of all of this. There are reasons God said, wait to have sex until after you're married. Why? So that it doesn't hurt you, that it doesn't hurt the kids. There's a reason why God hates divorce, because it hurts you and it hurts your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be a man prancing around in the women's clothes all you want. That's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's okay, because it's not.
And it's because we care that we're hollering about, because we know what this is doing to the people that do that. They're emotionally and spiritually and mental, they're hurting.
Yeah.
They're really hurting. That's why God says, don't do this stuff. Physically, things happen to them, emotionally, mentally, and you shouldn't do it just because you feel sorry for them, because they are really hurting and they're hurting other people even more. And that's why when God gives us these commandments, it's not because he's mean and hateful. It's because he knows what it'll do to us. He knows what it'll do to our families, our loved ones. You know, you think what you do in a sin doesn't hurt anybody. I have the right to choose what I want to do with my life, and it doesn't hurt anybody. I'm consenting, I can do this, but you hurt your family.
Yep.
Somehow you hurt your family, and in the long run, you're going to hurt yourself too. And you don't think so now, but it will hurt you. Things happen.
And we do need to pray for these people, because these people
Yeah.
are very seriously mentally ill and very seriously hurt and had
Yeah.
some serious abuse in their lives.
You feel so sorry
So-
for them.
We feel sorry for them and we need to pray for them, but we do not need to give
Condone.
these companies our money and
Mm-mm.
condone this content.
Because those companies are encouraging them to do this. It's like they're saying to these people, go ahead, keep hurting yourself. And they come across with the idea, well, we're just embracing them and being tolerant. No, you're hurting them. If you love them, you wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. So anyway, All right, guys, check out our cookbooks. 40% off right now for our Mother's Day sale. This only happens twice a year, so 40% off. Grab it now for Mother's Day. Visit us at livingonadime.com if you're still talking to us. But you know what? Here's the thing. People support us that are standing up for it.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh is standing up against it, and Tucker Carlson is standing up against it, and people are supporting it because they're sick of this baloney. And you have to stand up. You may not think you make a difference, but you have to stand up and say, no, I'm not putting up with this anymore.
And if ever we get taken off, do they
Yeah.
just go to the
Go
website?
to Living on a Dime and sign up for our newsletter, and you guys will find us. Because I'm sure one of these days my big mouth is going to get me shut off.
Yeah, we're going to
YouTube.
get shut off. So just
But-
go to Living on a Dime.
You know what? I am not going to stay silent. livingonadime.com. Please visit us next time.
Bye-bye, guys.
Oh, by the way, we're going to be on live tomorrow also.
Yep. Bye-bye.